still blue. Footsteps on Fulham Road, moonlight on my pride. Wore this badge through highs and lows, never had to hide. Memories in Stamford Breeze echo through my chest. Not every win is sweet, but I gave my all, no less. We sang through the rain, we danced through the pain. The pitch still remembers my name. Still blue through the silence and the roar. Still blue even when we don't score. I carry the soul of the shedding crew. You can't shake me, I'm still blue. Still here, still true. Woke up to the chants, paint cracked on my wall, but the pride in my heart never faded at all. Jersey frayed at the seams, but it still feels right. Been through darkest nights, still shining bright. We bled in the game, we rose with no shame. The bridge still whispers my name. Still blue, every tear and every cheer. Still blue, with my voice loud and clear. I carry the pride of the shedding crew. Win or lose, I'm still blue. From Drogba's fire to Ritz's run, we stood tall under every sun. Through Abramovich nights to new days begun, this heart beats for only one. Still blue, even when they don't believe. Still blue, every year we grieve and dream. I carry the hope of the shedding crew, born for this, I'm still blue. Still blue. Footsteps on Fulham Road, moonlight on my pride. Wore this badge through highs and lows, never had to hide. Memories in Stamford Breeze echo through my chest. Not every win is sweet, but I gave my all, no less. We sang through the rain, we danced through the pain. The pitch still remembers my name. Still blue through the silence and the roar. Still blue even when we don't score. I carry the soul of the shedding crew. You can't shake me, I'm still blue. Still here, still true. Woke up to the chants, paint cracked on my wall, but the pride in my heart never faded at all. Jersey frayed at the seams, but it still feels right. Been through darkest nights, still shining bright. We bled in the game, we rose with no shame. The bridge still whispers my name. Still blue, every tear and every cheer. still blue. From Drogba's fire to Ritz's run, we stood tall under every sun. Through Abramovich nights to new days begun, this heart beats for only one. Still blue, even when they don't believe. Still blue, every year we grieve and dream. I carry the hope of the shed and crew, born for this, I'm still blue. Still blue. Still blue. Footsteps on Fulham Road, moonlight on my pride. Wore this badge through highs and lows, never had to hide. Memories in Stamford Breeze echo through my chest. Not every win is sweet, but I gave my all, no less. We sang through the rain, we danced through the pain. The pitch still remembers my name. Still blue through the silence and the roar. Still blue even when we don't score. I carry the soul of the shedding crew. You can't shake me, I'm still blue. Still here, still true. Woke up to the chance, paint cracked on my wall, but the pride in my heart never faded at all. Jersey frayed at the seams, but it still feels right. Been through darkest nights, still shining bright. We bled in the game, we rose with no shame. The bridge still whispers my name. Still blue, every tear and every cheer. Still blue, with my voice loud and clear. I carry the pride of the shed and crew. Win or lose, I'm still blue. From Drogba's fire to Ritz's run, we stood tall under every sun. Through Abramovich nights to new days begun, this heart beats for only one. Still blue, even when they don't believe. Still blue, every year we grieve and dream. I carry the hope of the shed and crew, born for this, I'm still blue. Still blue. Still blue. Footsteps on Fulham Road, moonlight on my pride. Wore this badge through highs and lows, never had to hide. Memories in Stamford breeze echo through my chest. Not every win is sweet, but I gave my all, no less. We sang.
Yes, good people, big up to all of you. Welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome to another match review show on Chelsea Perspective. I do hope you're all doing well. Live reaction, and in a bit, I will share the link in the comment section so that you can come and express yourself and tell us what you think went wrong. For me, a lot of stuff went wrong, and I'm not trying to make excuses here. If you follow football long enough, you'd know that the international break is an issue. You don't need to be told that, but that's by the way. We could have won that game for when could have also lost that game because they finished with the game. Brentford did finish the game with a better XG than we did, but that's by the way. He ended Brentford 2, Chelsea 2, and almost always a difficult place to go and get a good result. But here's the thing: I'm not gonna, you could say, go hog a transformer like Nigerians would say. A lot for the manager to learn from that game. He had to rotate because we have the games coming in thick and fast. I think how many 4 games in 10 days? He had to rotate. Maybe he's learned that he just have to. He has to field his best players, wing it that way, whether they are burning out or not. Just make a few changes here and there. I think he made one too many changes, in my opinion, but that's just me. We'll get into it. We'll discuss it. We'll take it one by one, and it'd be interesting to see what you have to say before I even share the link in the chat. And big up to you too, my bro. I'll get back to you in a bit. I know I did get some information from you, and he said Brentford played well in the first half, while Chelsea showed class a second half. That's football. Win or lose, Chelsea forever. I agree with you. But the big lesson today is that the newcomers in Yoro Hato and Jamie Gittins, they still do need time to adapt properly. Maybe the manager, he shouldn't have started both on the same side. They looked out of place. Even I'm not saying they're bad players. These things do happen when you have new signings. Sometimes some of them hit the ground running immediately. Some of them do need a time to adapt. And I think we're good. And I've heard people argue that we don't have good depth. We do have good depth. If anything, they need time, and which is also a metric, which makes sense of what Jay said to me. Yeah, that's also a metric with which to measure the depth of a squad. That it'd be correct to say we don't have good depth. So it does make sense. And hi to you to Letitia. Give me one. All right. Hi to you too, Letitia Bozad. I hope I didn't butcher your last name. But thank you for joining. And we have sad day. It's a sad day. I get it. We didn't lose, but at the same time, it'd be correct to not again. Sadly, we didn't win. We have a good enough squad to again to win us that game, but for some reason, which we're here to talk about, let's get your opinion. And you could also argue, had it not been for bad refereeing decision, we could have still won, even though we didn't. You can say we didn't play as well as we usually do, because the second goal could have been ruled offside. Because if there was a flick, then definitely it should have been offside. But it looked like there was a flick, and the flick was from a Brentford player by a Brentford player. So the ball didn't get to the guy that put it in the back of the net directly from the throw to his feet. So that makes a huge difference. And a lot of people online are questioning why that wasn't ruled offside. For me, it's difficult to take, but I'm not that sort of person that dwell on such a result for long. Usually, what I do is take some time and watch the game again and try to find out what went wrong. But off the bat, I can tell you, uh, Jamie Gittins, Jamie Gittins, Yoro Hato, and also Wesley Fofana. I count Wesley Fofana as a newcomer because he's hardly ever fit. So his inclusion from the start of the game for me was always going to be a problem. He wasn't perfect. There wasn't you can say, good, proper coordination between him and Tosin Adarabioyo. Had there been one, you can argue the first goal could have been avoided. But that's just my opinion anyway. Yeah, Saturday indeed. It's a draw that feels like a loss because yeah, we should be winning that game convincingly, but at the same time, we knew before the game that it wasn't going to be easy. Irrespective of how I did tell people during the match, I did tell people during the match preview show that irrespective of the fact that they've lost some of their best players and one of the most pragmatic managers in the Premier League uh, last season or last 2 seasons, I think. How long did he stay there actually before moving to Tottenham? That yeah, they still it would still be a difficult game, and that's exactly what it was. Yeah, it could have been worse had it not been for Robert Sanchez's brilliance between the sticks. Yes, people, keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes that do go a long way. We have 3 likes, but we can definitely do a lot better than that. And interestingly, the poll that asks the question, why did Chelsea draw at Brentford? I was, again, I was expecting to see a lot of people blame the manager for that. But yeah, 27% Enzo Maresca's tactics were off. 45% says defensive mistakes cost us. To an extent, again, I'd have to agree to that point. Midfield lacked control, 9%. I don't think the midfield was an issue for me. That's just my opinion anyway. And 18% says too many changes in the lineup. I think I agree. And once something I saw somebody say online, why wasn't McGee in the lineup? And the manager did say during the presser that he was the only traditional, or you could say the only number 9 that we currently have. So why wasn't he included in the squad? And I'd argue that had he been on the bench, I think he would have made again. He would have been a better replacement for João Pedro than Tariq George. So for me, in as much as that, yeah, I love Enzo Maresca, and I think he's the right man for the job. But dang it, if you told us during the presser that Mikey is the only number 9 we have, why wasn't he even on the bench? It just doesn't make sense. And I think one thing that gives me hope is that he's a quick learner. I think he'll learn not to make that many changes. Keep starting. If you want to make changes, let it be just 1 or 2. Uh, when maybe this time again, yeah, I would. Did expect Yoro Hata to start, but Jamie getting starting with him, and even Wesley Fofana. And I've told you already, I do count him as a newcomer. Yeah, because he's hardly ever fit, and there's no way he'd have you could say the correct measure of chemistry with his teammates. He looked out of place, irrespective of how well you think he did. Same thing with Jamie Gittins. Clearly, he does need time to adapt. Yoro Hato wasn't bad, but he still did look out of place. For me, too many changes. Just one Yoro Hato alone would have been enough, or maybe Gittins alone. But looking beyond the number of changes the manager made for this game, but because the truth remains, he had to rotate. The games are coming in thick and fast, and the next game is in a few days. And I did suspect before this game that he was going to rest Gusto. Yeah. And then have him start against Bayern because he has the pace to measure the pacey forwards of Bayern Munich, and that was exactly what happened. I expected Euro had to start, but for me, I didn't expect Gitten to start. I would have rather even you could argue that as proven when he came on, he had an impact, but it's just that yeah, the chances he created weren't converted to goals. I would have loved Ganacho to start over Gittins. That's not me saying Gittins is a bad player, but yeah, I'm just going to go back to reminding people one thing that gives me hope is that Maresca, he's a quick learner, and I think he'd learn from the mistakes of starting to making too many changes. And for me, at the same time, I can't blame him. He had to do that. Otherwise, would risk losing a lot of games this period. He just had to rotate, and I don't think it'd be correct to actually say yeah because he made too many changes that led to us a draw or the game ending in a draw. No, because we had chances. Cole Palmer, he missed. He scored one, yes, but could have had a hat trick. Unfortunately. So let's hear your opinions there. Henry Wadinobi, darling, one the nicest to you out there. Hope you're doing well. What's the song? It's custom, created or maybe crafted with AI, but I wrote the lyrics myself. But the AI did the rest of music AI did the rest of the job. But I will at some point upload it so that our community members can find it and play it on YouTube. Maybe also a Spotify. Let's see, what else do we have here? It's time to play the game. What game? Let's see what else we have here. We surely needed to sign a new defender. um I mean, to an extent that's correct, I would say. At the same time, I'm I'm not sure what. Okay, I don't know, honestly. But let's see. I don't think anything. What did he do wrong? That first goal, I think probably to an extent you could argue miscommunication between him and miscommunication between him and Fafana, or you could say lack of proper coordination between both. I think if you rewatch that goal, you'd see that it did come across as if they weren't too sure who should be doing what. They weren't too sure. Both weren't too sure who should be doing what at that particular time, leading to a bit of confusion, in my opinion. And I don't blame him. I think, if anything, as much as I like Maresca, I think because the risk of that counter, I I, I wouldn't have mind again. I would have preferred, even though I think it's not. He still does come across to me as a raw, because his development, uh, you could say, you could say, was dwarfed by the series of injuries that he's had since joining Chelsea. I would have preferred Fofana starting centrally, and had he been centrally, I think he'd be a little more. Um, it'd be a little more. What's the language I'm looking for here? Would have been a little more composed, because he's used to operating centrally rather than on the right hand side. I get it. He's able to drag with the ball, so it'd be easy to just conclude that he's still okay playing on the right hand side. Tosin acceleration is a huge issue for him, and I think you could argue. I don't want to start blaming him for that goal. I think you need to go rewatch it. There was a bit of confusion, as I've mentioned before. They weren't too sure who should be doing what at that time, leading to them not being able to stop that goal. And the the thing is this: in all honesty, there's a striking illy again. There's a striking a similarity between that goal and the Josh King's goal that was disallowed. No difference, which proves that Tosin, if we're going to be playing a high line and against a team that has pacey players, such as the guy that scored the second goal for them, no, the first goal for them, then Tosin shouldn't be even starting. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but the lack of, you could say, he doesn't have good acceleration. As much as I think that, again, he reads the game very well, a good box defender, but when it comes to dealing with a pacey player who gains even the slightest of space between him and that player, it's usually difficult for him to catch up. But he was able to catch up, but was actually dribbled in this case. I don't know. I'm not going to say that first goal, not necessarily a defensive issue, but at the same time, to some measure, a defensive issue, because there weren't both they don't have a proper coordination between the two of them. There was a bit of confusion once again with regards to who does what to try to stop the player. Even for Fana, it took him. You can say it took him a few seconds to realize that yeah, he should be um, headed towards the central area of the box. While Tosin continues after the player that was on the ball at the time. Unfortunately, Tosin was the worst player today. Was he really? I haven't looked at the ratings. It's about this horrible defender, Tosin. Wow. He says, why is this guy No, no, don't worry about me. Hi to you too, John Legends. Nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. Let's see what JH has to say here. No, everything except a passing. Tosin, he says, let me see, read this. He says that Tosin was a worst of sure. Lack of head and drop points. Okay, head and power, control in defensive space coverage. All terrible. I'd IQ that it was wrong for him to have started centrally if we knew, if the manager was aware that what's the name, that Brentford had pacey players and they were going to try and hit us on a counter. I've always known that yeah, we'll have a lot of the ball, but the question is what do we do when they hit us on the break, and we weren't able to deal with it. Could have happened more than once, but a bit of confusion. But the defenders, in my opinion, I'll get to watch it again. But not the end of the world. Almost always will be a difficult game, and I did tell people that during the match review show. Big up Tony and big up Wendy. Wendy, I do hope you're doing well. Wendy just went off again, but we have Tony. So Tony, thank you for joining me on the panel. I do hope you're doing well. I can't complain. I can't complain. I wouldn't, a draw that feels like a loss, unfortunately, because yeah, we should be winning that game, and we had the opportunity to win it, but we didn't. But let's hear your thoughts. What are your observations from the game?
Yeah, well, it's like we were saying at the pub, it just felt, it feels like a loss even though it's a draw. So it's good. I mean, if you're coming back from the international break and you're going to what many might call a bogey team, uh, obviously we want to win. Obviously we're good enough for a win. Obviously we could have probably secured a win. But to get a draw, given, I think we all agree a couple too many personnel changes and going to
But at the
Brentford and
same time, he had to
after
make
the
that many
international
changes.
break, yeah, well, I took copious amounts of notes to prepare for this live stream because while we were there, everyone was just cheering, and I'm over here just scribbling in my notepad, like trying to remember everything to bring up. But one of the things that I have to get off my chest is like, look, I'm not some sort of like Tosin sympathizer, but I just don't understand why he takes so much heat from our viewers. Like every time it seems like a live stream happens, like
Hmm.
no, he doesn't have the pace. But I watched that first goal over and over and over and over and over, and I'm going to tell you something. Like for what he did in the situation that he was in, okay? Um, he almost blocked it. Like he barely got nutmegged. He got some knee to it. He almost blocked it. It just bounced through because it had too much pace on it. But I'm gonna tell you, and I can't dig him out because he's just coming back. I put more of the blame in that goal on Wesley Fofana because if you look at his recovery speed, it is absolutely atrocious.
He was practically
He
jogging back, and
Yes, I'm
if
and
he
when
read the
when yeah.
game well,
Mhm.
while Tosin was focused on catching up with the kid that scored that goal, Wesley Fofana should have initially made you could say he should be headed towards the central area of the pitch.
Yes.
So by the time of the 18-yard box, so by the time the kids gets there, they double up on him. But he got a bit confused, wasn't too sure what to do. But
Yes,
go
and
ahead with
and
what you
and
were saying.
after he gets the ball, and he kind of puts a turn on Tosin to get an angle for a shot, ends up putting it between his legs. By the time he turns and he's opening his body to shoot, like I don't know, man. Like maybe one thought is he's been out for a while, so that and with injury and that kind of can psychologically affect you. Not only is there physical rust, there's mental rust. So maybe he's thinking, man, if I put everything into this challenge, I'm gonna get a penalty, maybe, or maybe he just doesn't have confidence in his body because he's trying to get the rust out. But I mean, as soon as, and I wish I could remember the Brentford player that had the shot, it escapes me at the moment. But as soon as he opens his body up to take the shot, you can see Fofana like visually slow his jog down even more. Whereas I feel like
He didn't get it
more
down. He didn't
defenders
get
would
there on
kind
time.
of
Yeah.
more defenders, I feel like, especially if they're feeling comfortable and they're match fit. So I'm going to give them some grace here, but you would see them hit their top level acceleration at that last moment, realizing, oh my God, he's going to get a shot away, and they would just turn on the afterburners to get there. But instead, you see Wesley kind of pull up, like he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to get there," and it's just, I just felt like Tosin was on an island, and given the fact that he was on his heels and getting turned, like I mean, he still did really well, as tall as he is, to get his knees down and get a piece of the ball. It's just unfortunate; it just had too much zip on it. Um, but I feel like Tosin, he needs somebody to get back faster. Having said that, that takes me to my next point
Go
where I.
ahead, Tony. I'll be back in a
Oh
few
yeah, yeah,
seconds.
yeah. Yeah. Having said that, that takes me to my next point of a few too many changes. Okay. So if you're going to have Tosin and um, Chalaba in there, great. But like what we're doing here is like Fafana is like, he likes to play up high, but he's just not match fit enough to get back in time. And I would have liked to have seen. Now I think I heard you talk about this a couple days ago. Actually, no, was it last night? Yeah, I think you were doing the match preview, and I think somebody mentioned that maybe, or it could have been another YouTube channel. It's all blurring together. But too many kids around me today. But the comment of, "Hey, I think we're going to save Gusto for Bayern because their forwards are so pacey." But I mean,
I did say
here's
that too, and I
yeah,
suspected
yeah,
that was going to
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
I
But for
suspected that was
me,
going to happen. Yeah.
it's but for yeah, exactly. But for me, it's just like the same with Fafana, the same with Hatta. I get Gittins; he started a couple times, but the same with Fafana, the same with Hato. Sorry, Hato is how you pronounce it. Um,
You're a hatter.
um, but like why are you gonna I get what you're doing, but like if you want to rest your guys, like get them out there early, like you got like your Cucureas, your maybe put Reece James in the midfield, maybe give Gusto just some minutes. Some of these guys, I know he didn't bring Gusto on, but some of the guys he brought on later, I'm just like, why don't you get them out there out of the gate and just kind of see what you're dealing with and see if you can get ahead, and can control the game, and then you can bring some subs on. But to start with these guys, I mean, there's a couple things going on here. You got Fafana just coming back, and he starts. So now I'm watching this game. Our defenders are holding such a high line when we're in possession. I feel like that's pretty standard. But like Enzo is making his progressive runs as he will do, and as we want him to do, and making plays. And then you have um, Caicedo, who is a monster, but we're just talking about not overcooking him. And now his backup is out for months. And you've got him alone in the midfield there. So when Brentford break on the counter, like he's pedaling back to get back, or they pass the ball over his head. Now he's racing to get back. And your defenders are holding a really high line too. There was really, for me, a noticeable gap in midfield. I just feel like, Hato's still getting used to things, and um, there was no one really coming in to occupy that inverted role next to Caicedo. And so there's nothing to cover the gap when Enzo's going forward like he's used to doing. And I just felt like we were just kind of a man down in midfield, obviously, until Cucurella and James gets there. And as soon as James gets in, what happens? You have a plug in midfield, and it's a lot harder for them to break on us now. So I just, that's why, I mean, it's just like I get why I was the first one to say, obviously, we're going to rotate. Like, look, it's like people forget we don't have a game away at Bayern in just a few days. I get that.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's a factor.
Hmm.
Whereas I think it's a factor, I think in my opinion, he made for me the fact that the changes, the newcomers, I think it'd be correct to put it that way, were
Hmm.
on the same side of the pitch. A huge issue for me.
Yes,
In
and I heard you
yeah,
say that.
exactly.
I
It
heard you
had
say
to
that in
and
the chat
Gittins.
beforehand.
Yeah.
Yes, to have them side by, I mean, because that's what I was getting to. It's a combination of things, honestly. It really, for me, it set off a chain reaction. That's why I just kind of wish he'd have started with, what works, and then you could bring these newer guys on because,
But at the
let these
same
guys sit
time,
out the
it's
last
a
20
risk
minutes and get
though.
their rest.
You get my point, Tony. As
Yeah.
much as I've thought about it also, and I've went like, you know what? Why don't you just go with our strongest 11? Let them keep playing.
Mhm.
Wing it. If they get tired, then you drop them. But at the same time, it's a
Right.
huge risk.
It is.
It's
It
still a
is.
huge
But
risk. So he had to do what he had to do, and it just didn't work
exactly.
out.
But again, like, okay, so here's my point. If you're going to like if you're going to start Fafana, I believe in possession we had a back three. Um I, I I honestly struggled to figure out what Fafana was doing. I tried the whole game to just figure out his positional awareness, if or his positional responsibilities rather. If you have some insight on that, I'd love to hear it. But the point is that he's not really going to the midfield. He's kind of hanging back with Tosin, but they're both really high because they both want to go forward. And then but you didn't have Kukurea and you have James. And Hato really wasn't going into the midfield that much. He was kind of doing more of a traditional kind of up and down the wings kind of, fullback. So you didn't have that extra body in midfield. And so if you're gonna, I mean, I'm just like, if you're gonna try Hato behind Gittins and you're gonna start with that, can you get somebody a little more familiar on the right side? Like maybe James well, James, because and let him invert so that if Hato's going to keep running the sideline, and I mean like if he's gonna I don't know if he was just coached to do that or if he just was asked to invert into midfield and it just wasn't happening for him, but he wasn't doing it that much. So my point is have a counterbalance. If you're going to be a little weak over there and he's not going to invert and you really need to do that, Maresca, then bring somebody like James in for at least I don't know, 70 minutes, 60, 70 minutes. Let him play in the midfield, but otherwise, if you're not going to bring James in, then bring Cucurella in and put him behind Gittins and let him tuck in. But don't start the game like that. It created just a chain reaction in different positions that ultimately, like we were just because of that, we were weak on the left and we had a lack of a man in the midfield. And so
But
therefore,
overall,
when
again,
the defenders
yeah.
play a high line and Casado's by himself, like I felt like it was fairly easy in the first half there to kind of like cut through us on the break. That's what
Yeah.
I'm getting at.
Yeah, I Heston, I get it. Caicedo hardly ever, again, he hardly ever see him finish a game, and then he hardly ever has a bad game, right? But the
Right.
truth remains, he did come across as a bit tired, not fully
Oh,
himself, which I don't
yeah.
blame him. And I've told people, irrespective of how you see it, I'm not making excuses. International break is a factor. It's a serious factor. It's football. Travels are involved, and you train differently. International break, it breaks momentum. First of all, and I can assure
Can't
you,
stand it.
I'd argue that had it not been for the international break, that would win this game convincingly.
100%. Yeah. I think so.
Exactly. So international break breaks the momentum. And then
Yes.
players, some of them travel thousands of miles. I get it. They didn't walk to the places where they played the games, airplane and everything. I
Hmm.
get it, but something called jet lag. And
Yep.
also, it's tiring also. And you
Hmm.
switch to a different approach. It's still football. I get it. We had actually did have enough chances to win this game today. Cole Palmer scored one, but could have scored three.
Mm-hmm.
You get the point. So
Yeah.
at the same time, as much as I think rotation was an issue, at the same time, the manager had to do it. Look at
Mm-hmm.
this. Let's look at this. We'll play 4 games within the span of 10 days.
Yep.
And the next game is Bayern away in 4 days' time. Today is 13th, and in 4 days' time, we'll be traveling to Munich. And after that, in 3 days' time, we're playing Manchester United at home.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then after that, then yeah, we have again a 4 days' time, we're playing Brighton away. So it's tight. And then
Yes.
another in 3 days' time, after the 27th, after Brighton, we'll be playing Benfica at home. It is that
Right.
tight.
Mm-hmm.
Then in 4 days' time, we're playing, yeah,
It's
October
so
4th,
much.
yeah.
It's so
Oh, so
much.
yeah, so it's tight.
Ah.
He had to make those changes, but unfortunately for him, the newcomers, you can't argue, they haven't, you can say they're still adapting. They're not quite there yet. And we have a manager, an idealistic manager, which means hardly ever are new signings plug and play. Except if you're an attacker
Mm.
like a number 9, then it's usually
Right.
not that difficult.
Right.
But
Right.
Gittins does look like, yeah, he needs time to adapt.
Yeah.
And I don't agree that we don't have a good squad depth. We do have a good squad depth.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I get it, and I agree with Jay. The fact that the newcomers aren't quite ready yet is also a factor. You could say a metric with which to measure whether we have a good
Mm-hmm.
squad depth or not. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, um, we've always known Brentford away was never going to be an easy game. But we have Constantine Dante in the house. Dante, big up to you. Yeah, I know you're not still you're not in Dubai anymore. You're at home, so definitely you did watch the game. Your thoughts? We have a lot to talk about. We also discussed whether the second goal should have been off again, ruled offside, which I think, if indeed the Brentford player flicked it, then definitely should have been called again, should have been ruled offside. But it looks like it did look like he did, but I need to watch it again. But Dante, let's hear your observations from the game.
Yeah, big up, coach. Yeah, back home. Of course, I'm back home. Been home for a while, but yeah,
Now, I was just pulling
pretty
your
good.
legs
And
because
big up to Tony as well. Yeah.
but go ahead.
Come on, coach. You're slipping. Come on. Um, yeah, look, disappointing. We didn't win. Obviously, the first half wasn't very good. There wasn't very good link up play. There was quite a lot missing. The movement wasn't there. We obviously Maresca took a few risks for the reason you just stated before. We do have a game very soon against Bayern Munich, a huge game. So, and 4 games pretty much in 10 days or so. So, he needed to rotate a little bit. He did that. Probably not some of the best decisions, but I mean, that's what he's got available at the moment. Esteval was sick as well. Guy wasn't there either, so a couple of other misses there, unfortunately. So he started Bonanote. Look, he didn't have the worst games. He wasn't that involved. There wasn't much space for him to operate in that little area, that pocket there. And you can see the difference in the second half when he brought on the players, that know the system really well, that really link up well. The movement changed. He made a few tweaks, of course,
I
as
mean, you
well,
got to give
Maresca,
it
as he
to
always
him. He
does.
makes good
And I
changes.
was confident going in that second half that we will come. He makes great changes. He doesn't really hesitate too long, so he made the changes pretty quick, which is what you need. So look, he started probably the players that probably got that a little bit wrong, but I mean, can you blame him? It's hard. There's not one else really.
If you're
That's the
saying
squad at the
got that,
moment.
if you're saying he got that a little bit wrong, what exactly?
Oh, probably just the players in the positions. Probably if you look at Shalaba playing that left centre back role, last time he played there, he's not very good at passing from the left hand side. He's not comfortable at all, so he doesn't link
And
up. If you
starting the
remember a
two
couple of
newcomers
games
on
ago,
that left hand side, right?
as well, correct. Yeah. So that for me, that was a little bit of a mistake. I mean, obviously, maybe in training, look, it works out, but in the game, from what we've seen in this game and a couple of games ago when he did play in that role as well, he didn't do well. Like, if you remember, I was saying we had the least passes going forward from a defense to midfield ever under Maresca, the percentages in that game. So he played again on the left centre back role, and again the link up play was not there. That's because he's not really comfortable passing that left hand side like that. He's predominantly, right footed, so he likes to press more centrally and to the right. So that's what he's used to. So again, I think a little bit there may be wrong, and those new players coming in for Fana because he hasn't been around for a long time and he hasn't been training
I
for a long time.
counted him.
So even
I
he's a
do
bit of a
count
new
him as a
player.
newcomer.
Yeah, so even he's a bit of a new guy as well to it. So look, I think that, and like I said, just the movement and probably that link up wasn't there at all in that first half. And the players that did come in, they were taking it a bit easier. Hato came in. I keep saying this. It's going to take him quite a long while to a lot of time to play that Cucurella role. It's not an easy role to do. So he's not really that type of player. He did what he could, but he was very cautious. You can see he was calm, but that's because he was very nervous. That's why he was so calm. So he wasn't committing, doing too much, and that's the sign of a player that's quite nervous. So that was his debut. So that's fine. One game, and he's only 19. Let's not forget he's quite a young kid. Although he's experienced,
I mean, he didn't do bad. It just wasn't
it's always.
impactful.
Yeah, no. Well, he's not going to be a Cucurella. You saw the difference the second half Cucurella brought when he came on. A completely different type of player, different character. It's very different. So I just think that left-hand side struggled a lot with link-up play and movement. And yeah, like I said, Maresca corrected that, though. You got to give him credit. Corrected that very well at halftime. Made the changes quickly. The right players came in, and you saw a massive difference. Probably unlucky not to win that game, really, in the end. I think we
Because we
probably
had good
just
chances, right?
just deserved it, I think, to win. Brentford played okay. They played the usual style. They'll sit back, five defenders sometimes, and they'll sit sometimes low. Sometimes they'll change it up a little bit. But yeah, look, it's unfortunate we didn't get the 3 points, but it's not the end of the world. Like I see a lot of saying it's the end of the world. People forget we've not lost a game in a very long time. We are still unbeaten this season, and we've had such a great run. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be little slip ups along the way, and with the international break as well, like I heard you say as well, we're never good. Doesn't matter what era. It's always harder when the international break to come back for all of the better teams. They always seem to struggle a bit more
It's a
sometimes. So
factor. Whereas it's not an excuse, it's a factor that contributes to, you can say, the poor performances after the international break. It's really common sense. But a lot of people, when you mention the international break as an issue, I didn't say that we didn't win the game because of the international break. I just didn't. I've
no,
always
no.
known. Sometimes, actually, during the international break, even when we have our best players on the pitch, they do. So in most cases, they come across as tired. They come across as lethargic. Sometimes they come across as disjointed. It happens. Even Caicedo, as good as he did today, he wasn't at his best.
Yeah, yeah. Look, you always, of course, they're tired. They've got a lot of kilometers under the belt, as in flying as well around the world, different time zones. Yes, there's gonna be a little impact. So look, like I said, not the end of the world. It was still a very, very good performance in that second half. We should have really won it. Cole Palmer had probably the easiest chance of the game. He missed. So that easy chance that he had, he should have really buried that. But yeah, a little set piece. The last probably 5 minutes was pretty disappointing. And I'm sure Maresca would be very disappointed with the last 5 minutes as well. So just I think we didn't control the ball. We just decided to just hoof it up and just give possession away. I'm sure that's not what Maresca would want. We want to keep the possession, pass the ball around, frustrate the opposition. Don't just give them the ball back. And that's what we kind of did the last 5 minutes. And the pressure kept building those last 5 minutes because of that.
You could
So
argue there
yeah,
was a
even the
bit of
goal,
a
even
nervy. You could argue there was a bit of a nervy showing that
it
led to
was,
us
yeah.
conceding that throw in. Led whether
Yeah,
the argument whether you could say it was an offside, the goal should have been called off, or maybe that's
yeah.
secondary in my opinion. Because yeah, we were a bit nervy at the
Secondary,
time.
yeah,
But go
exactly.
ahead, nervous maybe.
Yeah, so I think Maresca, I was disappointed. I'm sure Maresca would be very disappointed that we did not control that game, that last 5, 6 minutes, holding the ball, passing it around, sit in shape and frustrate the opposition. Don't just hoof it up and give them the ball back because that's what we kept doing. And that's what led to that throw in as well. So this pointing at part
Yeah, it
into
looks like
space, opening up
you're this.
space.
Go ahead.
Even the low block was struggling with us. So yeah, look, some disappointment, something, but it's in the end, it's still a positive. We're still unbeaten, a point away from home. London Derby as well. People forget it's still a London Derby as well. So um, I'm okay with the result. It's not the end of the world, like I see everyone. A lot
I
of
mean,
people,
I mean,
and
sad
on
that
the
we
stream
didn't
I was
win.
doing with Tobago as well. Bobby
Hmm.
was having a meltdown as well about it. So I'm not quite sure why, but it's not the end of the world. It's still sometimes when you play like this and you don't, and you still get a result. It's actually a good sign, not a bad sign.
There are a lot of factors to bear in mind. I know a lot of people won't. The fact that the game ended in a draw and they all believed that we were going to win that game changes everything. Emotions are still running high. For me, not a you could say it was a bad first half, a better second half. We had the chances to win our game, to win that game. One of our best players had good opportunity, two good opportunities to you could say score a hat trick on the day. He missed two of them, unlike him. And I'm not blaming him. These things do happen. We could have lost had it not been for Robert Sanchez's brilliance between the sticks. Look, I'm not complaining. It's just that I've always known it was going to be. I did know that it was going to be a difficult game, especially given the fact that it was Brentford away. There's a lesson to learn. The manager, I think, probably learn from that game that not to start getting in Hato in the same game so we don't have issues on on the left hand side. Plus, how ready they are. Yeah, we didn't have good enough preseason, in my opinion, which would have accorded the manager enough time to learn more about these players. Unfortunately for him,
Of course, yeah.
this is more like our preseason to an extent, and I think he's managed it well. Again, I'd argue now if we had what's his name, Pochettino as our manager, or maybe Graham Potter, chances are we'll be discussing three losses now. But
Pretty
Maresca
much, pretty much,
knows,
coach. Yeah,
yeah. Sorry,
yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
yeah.
Different, completely different team. We would lose these games, hundred
Yeah, so
percent.
he
Yes,
knows we're not perfect yet. So he's doing things he needs to do. Not again. I'm not happy, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world. I know we'll have a good season. I'm not going to go to the extent of saying that we'll be fighting for the title as not quite. I need to see. There are things I need to see before. Yeah, I'll be able to tell people this is where I believe we'd finish the season. I usually like
put it this way,
around
coach.
six. Mhm,
We can only get those players, those young players, and some of those players that came in. They can only get
mhm.
better as the season goes because they'll, work with the coach more, with the assistants, and know the play. They'll know the players well, how they run. What you'll see much. They'll improve quite a lot as well. So
Yeah.
getting these results is
Yeah.
very important.
And quickly, please, Tony, you don't wait for me to call in you. You can always interject. You can always
No,
interject.
I was actually just getting ready to chime in and say a
Okay,
couple thoughts. Is
yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
the first thing is, and I'm not trying to be just overly positive here, but there are some silver linings. I mean, as Jay said, it's a draw. It's not a loss. Could have been a loss. Another thing is, I think
Did you
that we
call
need
him
to be.
Jay?
What's that?
You called him Jay, right? Dante,
Oh, I'm
that's a new name
sorry.
for you. I'm gonna be calling you Jay from now on. Go
I'm
ahead.
so
Oh no,
sorry.
not another,
No, no,
Give
not
me
don't
the
tell
another
him
name
me
sorry.
again.
time. Come on, coach.
Go ahead.
Give me the name again.
His name is Dante. Go ahead, Tony.
So sorry, Dante. Oh my
Don't tell him
God.
No
sorry.
problem.
Oh,
All good,
He's a
Tony.
okay.
nobody.
Yeah. I'm the newcomer here, so I'll take that one. That's on me. No, I
All good,
look.
buddy. All good.
I think I think we need to be really, really, really grateful. All things considered, yeah. And we can talk. Personally, I think it was just one too many subs. Like I was saying, I understand the circle. I'm just
Especially
saying,
on the
like
same side of the
the
pitch.
the fulcrum, I think, of this system is you have got to have uh, an inverting fullback, like to come into midfield. I just didn't see that in the first half at all. I think if we could have just done that on one side or the other, I think we could have been shored up a little bit more. But having said that, look, here's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful this wasn't the Brentford of the past 2 years because this could have been pretty nasty.
I'd say I'm grateful we have a
Yep.
manager that you can say he did what he had to do, even though
Mm-hmm.
the team, you could argue, we did come across as a bit rusty for reasons I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to get into. I don't want anybody to start arguing that I'm making excuses or not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the sort of person, I like to shoot straight. I tell you how I see it. I
Mm-hmm.
don't fear your response to my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're here. But go ahead, Tony.
No, I'm just thinking like, there's a lot of things that went against us, the international break, going away to Brentford, maybe one too many changes, some
Mhm.
injuries that we're dealing with. I mean, that's still an overarching theme. That hasn't changed since the last match. Like, we have an entire season without Fafana. We have a Delap that we can't bring on. We run the risk of cooking Caicedo every match. But this Brentford uh, we were depleted because of all of those things, I think, today and tired.
Well, even
Obviously,
Esteval,
some
even
players
at
not
top,
available, but this
yeah.
Brentford team is depleted compared to what they've been. There's no more, start. They lost a lot. They got plucked pretty clean, and they're
And
still
but if
they're
you
still a
watch the,
good, solid,
yeah,
solid physical
they're
team. But
still.
they
Did you?
lost their manager too, and so I'm just
Yeah,
saying, like,
true.
fortunately, we got a depleted Brentford, given the fact that we had to go to their place, and it was right after the
I
break,
mean,
and we have all these other things going
it's
against
a
us.
point that makes sense. If you watched the preview show, I did say, irrespective of the fact they've lost some of their best players and one of the most pragmatic managers for 3 seasons in a
They're
row in the
still
Premier
very
League,
physical.
yeah, that we're still going to find it difficult. But
Yep,
here's the thing:
yep.
if you guys don't mind, let me give the microphone back to those in the chat to get their opinion. Then I'll come
Mm,
back to the panel. I'd
mm.
like us to analyze that first goal we considered. Some are blaming Tosin. I'm blaming the lack of proper chemistry between him and Fafana, because at some point it seemed as if they weren't too sure who should be doing what at the same time to stop the goal from happening. But that's a small opinion. I'll come back to the panel and I'll have you guys talk about it. Let's see. This guy is not qualified to be in the starting lineup, especially when talking about a Champions League level. Wow. Here's the thing. Tosin is such a player. If you're going to play a high line, you have to find a way to conduit or maybe mask his deficiency, lack of pace, not exactly lack of pace. You could say uh, the poor acceleration. He doesn't accelerate quicker, but by the time he picks up, you'd be gone. But that's a small opinion anyway. And we have Blue Clouds Media, my bro here. This Ian, nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. Greetings to you too. Thank you for joining. And people go and check out my bro's YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and let him know I sent you. He should have at least 20K subscribers right now. Yeah, you got to bring on Cahill in the second half. Yeah. Wendy, thank you. I understand those things happen. We didn't win because we come across as slow, predictable. I don't well, you're entitled to your opinion, but I don't think that was the reason why we didn't win. We had good chances to win, and I guarantee that had we won the game, I don't think you'd be saying this. And that's the same with a lot of again, a lot of, you can say it's the same for the average football fan. Results define what they say during post game shows. That isn't the manager. In what way? Explain. And we've looked at how many games we will play in 10 days time. Yeah, and that's in the manager. If we play like this against United, United will be different. I don't think they'll be defending as deep as these guys did at times in this game. That high line with the slow CB is suicidal. Could the manager have done otherwise? Done things differently, maybe? I'm not sure. I'll think about it right now. 100% of people let up the likes. Let's get the likes up. The likes should be much better. We have just 6 likes, yeah, and we have 1,282 likes. But usually that's the case when you stream in a vertical format. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, what else do we have here? Once again, happy Saturday to you too. I do hope you're doing well. Uh, okay, you must be a Brentford fan, yeah, Carvalho. Okay, or maybe just an opposition fan. Let me use a general language there. But that's by the way.
I think he's a Liverpool
Chelsea
fan.
discuss. Are you there, Mr. Emo?
Yeah, I am certainly. Good evening. Good evening,
Big up.
everyone.
Good evening to you too. Thank you for finding the
Big
time
up,
to
you know.
join us on the panel. We can't see you, but that's fine. We can hear you. More importantly,
Yeah, yeah. Thanks
um,
for having me. My room is dark. Anyways, my light bulbs are bad, so they're not replaced for
oh,
now.
sorry to hear that. And
Yeah.
Nepa don't take light.
No, actually, there's light. Anyways,
All
there's
right,
light. If you can see, there's but my bulbs indoor are blind, are dead.
all right. Should I call you Emo? Is that fine?
Yeah, Imo, Imo.
Imo. Okay, Imo. That
Yes,
doesn't sound
yeah,
like
yeah.
an Igbo
That's
name. Imo. That should
Imo
be
Imo is
yeah.
Igbo name. Imo
Imo
is
sounds
Akwa
like
Ibom.
Idoma,
Now it's Akwa Ibom.
Igala.
Akwa
Oh, that's
Ibom,
by the way.
Akwa Ibom.
Akwa
That's a
Ibom.
very
Okay,
not popular
okay. Same
place,
thing.
anyways.
East. Still East. Yeah, we'll talk about that after the in private. Your thoughts.
Yeah,
Let's hear you. Your thoughts on the game overall.
yeah. Personally, on the Brentford game, um,
Hmm.
I actually think that the manager starting when I saw the lineup. Firstly, when I saw the lineup, Maresca decided to go come up with, I was quite skeptical. That is because the attack, the attack for me is not yet proven. They've not like played together. Everybody on that attack have not like started the game together. And Boninate coming in place of Palmer, I was curious anyways. But it was Brentford though. So I thought perhaps Brentford lost to Nottingham Forest 3-0. So I thought perhaps this in the first half might just be maybe like a draw, or if we can't get a goal past them, or it can end as a draw, and then the second half we can take it off there. But this is the thing with Brentford coming up against Brentford since they got promoted to the Premier League. If you watch the way they set up against us, it is difficult for Chelsea to create chances against low
You
block
can
teams like
argue
Brentford.
again. It's over time become a mental thing. Even the fans dread playing Brentford.
Yeah, here's my issue. I think I get that we get to play to Maresca's tactics. Most times, when it comes to all the team, we basically have a pattern of a style of play. But against teams like Brentford, sometimes you need to go with long balls, hit them on a counter. I watched the first half, the
But there's
very
no space
few
to
set of
exploit. You
chances.
do that when there are spaces to exploit, but there are not. There were none.
Yeah,
They
there
were
were few
tight,
occasions.
compact.
Yes, you're right. You're right. But there were few occasions where we had the chance to hit them on a quick counter on the first half, and players like Jamie Gittins was like when you get to the middle of the pitch, he kind of like track back, hold back. It's similar to what Noni Maduke does sometimes, and I definitely don't get it sometimes. If you watch when, pardon me, I have to bring Jackson into this. One of the things I liked about Jackson when it comes to quick counter attacks is when he gets the ball, holds off the player, looks for the man up front, and sends the ball.
So you think
If
Jackson would have
if
made a difference had he been on the pitch for us?
Jackson definitely would have made the difference, but my issue with him is if he is the man up front, like the point man up front, it wouldn't have made much of a difference in this particular game.
All
But
right. Let me
if
ask you
like
this.
he had to target Joao Pedro and he
Okay.
was backward, more like him, and I think would have been more different a bit. Then sorry for the second half we came on, and I mean the spark was there. We all saw it. Then Neto did his stuff, but there was an instance where what Neto just needed to do was give a little pass back to I think it was Palmer, and that would
Hmm.
have been a goal. That was before the second. That was the chance he got after breaking after letting go the player. He was not supposed to take the shot because someone was there unmarked. Sometimes most of those things. So I do wonder if we address that because I've seen that on a couple of occasions. And like if you just make a little pass back, that could have been a goal. I think those are part of the things we part of the mistakes we make. And considering from a throw, that's crazy. I think Rhys James should have done better sending the
Okay.
ball up for throwing.
I
And
want before I have Dante. before I check whether Dante whether he has a response to your contribution,
Yeah,
I want to ask you this. I hope you've seen our schedule for the month.
I didn't get that. Sorry.
Have you seen Chelsea's fixtures for the month? The rest of the fixtures for the month.
Yeah. I've seen
Okay.
fixtures for the
Okay.
month.
In today is the 13th, right? On the
Yeah.
17th, that's in 4 days' time. We'll travel to
Mm.
Munich to
Yeah.
play Bayern, right? And
Yeah.
then in 3 days' time, that's after the game, probably will come back to England immediately because we'll be
Yeah.
playing Manchester United away in 3 days' time. And
Mm-hmm.
after that, in the next 3 days, again, we'll also be playing Lincoln. That's the I think that's what competition? EFL Cup. Then after
EFL
that,
Cup.
we have Brighton at home. Yeah, that's 3 days on 4 days time. Then another 3 days we have Benfica at home. Then after
At home.
Benfica, we have that's okay 30th, and then on the fourth, let's say 4 days time or so, we have Liverpool away. Yeah, and
Mm.
then after that, then yeah, October 4th, then to 18th. Yeah, there's a bit of space before the next game, but
Yeah.
the games are coming in thick and fast. The manager he had to rotate. Maybe it was a mistake to have started two newcomers on the left hand side, which led to us
Mm-hmm.
being weak on that part of the field in the first half. So if you've seen the schedule, you'd know that yeah, he had to do what he had to do. Without rotation, would risk starting players who were on international break,
Definitely.
not
The,
necessarily a break. The break was for the
I thought
league,
as that
but
as well.
they
I
were
thought of it
busy.
too.
Yeah, exactly. They were busy representing their respective countries. The one
Yeah.
on a break, the one on beaches resting with their family. So that which was why they were on the bench to come on in the second half if things don't go away. And I can assure you,
Yeah.
if we're winning like 4-0, I don't think it'd bring on Cole Palmer or even Reece James at all. So the only issue for me, I'd say, yeah, I don't think it was right for him to start two newcomers on the left hand side, which you could argue led to us being weak on that part of the pitch. And the question I
Definitely.
asked was he told us, he did say during his presser that Margui is the only number 9 we have. Why wasn't he even on the bench? Then I learned he was
That
saying
that
that yeah,
that that's the
I didn't
part
like that.
that baffles me a lot.
Yeah, as much
That's
as
the
I
one
like
that. But why
Maresca, I didn't like
recall
that
him back
decision.
and
Yeah.
exclude him from this particular team?
I
What?
think he was
Where is
ill,
it? What
coach.
is it being
Him and
reserved for?
Esteval.
Estavo is sick, but in the case of
Yeah,
Guy,
that's what we got.
he did say that he had to leave him out because he had to leave someone out and wanted to give Tariq George more minutes. I don't think, for me, as much as
Yeah.
I like Maresca, I don't like that he did that. Now, how's the kid gonna feel? We called him back from where he
Yeah.
was on loan. But Dante, let's hear you. Imo, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Let's hear from Dante. But just give me 1 second here. Chimera says getting his bank average. He's the newcomer, and I think he wasn't actually that poor in this game. He did his best. For me, still comes across as a bit nervous. I think he needs a bit of time. That's it. João Pedro
He's
was spotted.
nervous.
João Pedro was spotted today. You could argue down to the fact that yeah, he traveled thousands of miles back and forth. That's not easy.
I think Joao Pedro was he was more like the man everybody were like eyes on him. So in
I,
situations like that, it would be difficult for him to thrive.
I would
You
say
saw the
he
close
didn't look
marking.
fully fit.
Well, that's something too. I think he picked a notch in the Brazil's game too.
It's a possibility. I don't know whether that was the case, but here's the thing. I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm not making excuses because yeah, we won the game. I don't think anybody would be mentioned. I'd mentioned it. I still mentioned the international break, but only
Yeah,
when I talk about how poor we played, how poorly we played on the day. We
on the
had
first
good
half we
enough
were terrible.
chances. Yeah, the manager approached the game he wanted. He did bring in the big guns in the second half. Cole
Yeah,
Palmer had a chance to score a hat trick, but missed two. That again on a good day that he'd score 3 in total. But Dante, let's hear you. Any response you have for what Emo said?
Just with the João Pedro was actually the reason we got that goal that Palmer got. He's the one that got the header. It was
Even though he
challenging for
didn't
that
get
in the
one,
air,
right?
and it actually
yeah.
Yeah, well, he's the main reason we got that goal. He got that. He challenged the two centre backs in the air, got his head on the ball. He fell down to Palmer, and Palmer scored. But if he wasn't there, we wouldn't be scoring that goal. So he actually, he contributed what he could. It wasn't his best game, obviously, but it was, still important in that goal for us to get back into it as well. So left side, playing Shalaba on the left centre back sort of role where he's not comfortable. He's not very good at that side at
Even
all,
as well
passing the
as he
ball.
did,
And
again,
obviously with the
yeah.
two new players
Mhm. Go ahead,
yeah,
go ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, there's just not much link up. That was that side, but pretty much everyone was a bit off that first half anyway. It was a bit more slow. There wasn't too many runs made, and the possession was quite sort of slow, passing sideways a lot. There wasn't too
Similar to
much
the Fulham's
happening.
game.
So I think they're just taking it easy, just passing it,
It was just like a command C,
trying to
command V of
open up Brentford, looking for.
Looks like Dante, he's again struggling with his
eh,
connection a bit. Go ahead, Emo, if you wanted to say something. Tony, probably you can say having a conversation with someone there and waiting to be called upon. I think he's learned
No,
that he
no,
can
no,
always
I'm here. I
interject.
just giving everybody their space to
but
talk.
uh,
But
let's
Kazima
let's
just got here, so and I wanted to give him
let's
some
let me
time.
ask you this,
Yeah,
Tony.
yeah.
Okay, I'm sure you've heard me talk about that. Maresca did tell us during his presser that Mark Gee is the only number 9 we have, and
Mm.
he wasn't even on the bench. And I don't like the fact that he said that he had to leave out someone, and he decided to leave out Gee and give more minutes to Tariq Judge. It just doesn't make any sort of sense for me.
No, I don't get that one at all. I don't.
I love him, but let's hear you.
I don't look. And this is like I told you, I took a lot of notes. This is one of the bullet points I wanted to hit today. I've said it. You know, loads of other Chelsea YouTubers have said it. Like look. Okay, we couldn't like his Tyreek's move. What forgot was he going to Fulham? Is that what fell through? I forgot where Tyreek was going to go on deadline day, but that falls through. So we have him now. We integrate him back into the team. Of course, he's a solid player. But I mean, I this is my one hang up with Maresca. The one thing I really, I mean, because I even today when I'm like, oh, you probably made one too many changes, like, I can
I mean,
still
that's
see a case for
understandable.
some of it. But with George, what is his obsession with playing him at striker? Like he doesn't need to be there. That is not where he thrives. Like why is he dropping João Pedro back in the 10, which he can do, sure. But George up in the 9 when you have Guiu right there that you can just slot right in like in the position that he
That
plays.
that is the stuff I just do not get to start with. Tyreek George is better off on the wing. We saw it. We saw it last season towards Stoke. I
Absolutely.
wonder what he's going to do in cup competitions like EFL, FA Cup, if he's going to stick him up there or he's actually going to play Mark Gill. Because we saw Gill in the Conference League last season. He was clinical. It was clinical and go. Play for me personally. We have a tight schedule already. For EFL Cup, I do not think he should play most of the key players. Tariq George has his place and should replace
No,
some
I
of the
don't think
players
he
that
played
are
key
meant for the
players.
first team.
I think that will serve. You could say the EFL Cup will serve as Margie's. You could say preseason. After
Yeah,
his return, let's hear you. You were still saying something. I think he more just had to interject because he had something he wanted to say, and we'll
yeah.
let Dante back in.
Uh,
Dante again. He started to use is a Walmart internet connection. Dante, but let's hear you. Tony, you were still speaking.
Oh no.
McDonald's coach,
Oh, McDonald's.
McDonald's
Even
Wi-Fi.
worse. Yeah. But let's hear you, Tony.
I mean that was pretty much my thought on Tyreek. I mean, I don't understand why he keeps throwing him up there.
Can
I
I just
think
add, sorry,
Jao
Tony? Can I
Pedro
just
can
add?
seamlessly play as a
Can I just
false
add about
nine.
Tyreek a little
Dante,
bit?
I think you're not hearing Tony. He's still speaking actually. Go ahead, Tony. If you maybe Dante cannot hear you, which was
Yeah,
why he
can't hear you.
started
Sorry.
talking over you, not knowing that you were still
Oh,
talking. But
that's
go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
sorry, Tony. I can't hear
Whatever.
you anymore.
It's whatever. It's connections. I mean,
Yeah, go
that will
ahead.
happen at McDonald's. Am I right?
Connection's
No.
horrible. Sorry, guys.
McDonald's, yeah. But go ahead, Tony. I'll let him know once you're done.
No, no, no. It's just the Tyreek George thing as a striker. I mean, João Pedro seamlessly, if you ask me, can slide between false nine and a 10. I mean, he thrives. But Tyreek George, I mean, I agree with Emo. He's a winger. He needs to be a left winger, and so I don't know. You know, the argument that was made was like, well, I guess George has to go back in the summer because we're getting Zan Garnacho, and he's obviously going to be third choice. I mean, I would go as far as to say, given his experience with the team in Maresca's system, like Tyreek George might be, you know, right now. I don't think ultimately, but right now might be the first choice on the left wing for me before getting Zorgar Nacho until they get up to speed. Okay, but to put him in as a striker, I just don't get it. Like he goes completely anonymous up there, and it's just not very fair to him. And I, so it's not good for him. It's not good for his psyche. I mean, and he's just being a good kid. Like he's doing what the coach asked him to do. But you have a guy for that job that you recalled, and you don't even have him on the bench today. Now I haven't heard anything about an illness for Giu or some kind of he felt something get tight in warm up or I mean in practice yesterday or whatever. I don't know. I haven't heard anything like that. It just seems like a tactical decision, and it's one that I cannot wrap my mind around. I don't know why he keeps putting George up there. Um,
Doesn't make any sense.
it's putting the weight of the
George is
world on his
becoming a
shoulders.
yeah.
But if you just put him over in at left wing, like he's right at home. I mean, and he shows up. You know, for a young guy, he's fairly solid. You know, but I don't know. So there's that
I
one.
don't mind Tariq as a false nine, but not against a very physical side like that. I think he just goes missing.
Well,
But
every
go
time
ahead,
we've
Tony, if
seen
you're
him
still
do it, though,
speaking. So yeah.
have you seen him be productive in that position against any opposition? I think
Never seen him.
somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I
He
think this
was.
is
He
the
was
third
once.
time we've
Yes.
tried it, and I think he's gone anonymous all three times.
Yeah, just quickly
Definitely.
before that they start speaking. Who billions? If you don't mind, do not exceed the three emojis. If you do that, the AI that's policing the chat will the AI that's policing the chat will time you out and also delete your message. Dante, let's hear you. Enzo Maresca
Cool. All right.
leaving out Mark Gee for according to him, he had to leave someone out, and he decided to leave out Mark Gui, whom he told us again the only number one we have currently, number nine, so
Yeah.
to speak. Then why leave him out? And he made it clear today during the post game interview that he had to leave someone out. Was it during the post game interview? I can't quite remember, but he did say he had to leave him out and accommodate Tariq George. I'm not using the exact words he used. For me, that doesn't make sense. I love Maresca, but I just don't understand that decision. Let's hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Coach? Is it all right?
Yeah, crystal clear, crystal clear.
Okay. Good. Sorry,
Maybe
guys.
you
My
weren't.
internet's
Yeah, you both
playing up.
weren't hearing. I know. I understand how bad the McDonald's internet connection is. So no worries.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it's shocking today.
Yeah.
Um, I disagree a little bit with the Tariq George. I actually can see him. He's actually developing more into a second striker, that type of player, away from being a winger, actually, and that's probably what Maresca's seeing as well in training, and the assistants and everyone. He's trending that way. He's growing. He got a little bit taller. He's getting a little bit slower. He's changing his game quite a bit, and I can see why Maresca's playing in that position, to be honest. So a little bit disagree with some of the guys there. I know what you guys are saying, but I understand why he's playing there as well. I think he's transitioning into that position, into that second striker sort of
Okay. To
position.
be more
Probably
specific,
not the main
he's
guy, but a
becoming.
second striker.
Okay.
And he did do well.
Mhm.
Yeah,
To
and
be
he
more
did do well
specific,
one
he's
game
growing.
when he did
You could
score
say
for
he's
us as well.
maturing
So
into a second striker.
correct,
But
yes.
would you agree that he's better off on the flanks?
Mm,
But go ahead. What you were saying. I just wanted to ask you that question.
yeah,
But I'd
you could
appreciate it
probably
if you can explain whether you think
yeah.
it'd be better off on the flanks. And today, was it a good decision? Was it? Did he even play centrally? But go ahead. Let's hear you. There goes the McDonald connection.
Dante?
No, can you hear me, Coach?
Yeah,
Yeah,
crystal
yeah,
clear. Go
can hear
ahead.
you.
Yeah. Okay, good. Um, yeah, look, I think he's transitioning towards that, and Reska sees that the assistants. I think he's moving away from being a winger. In my personal opinion, that's what I see as well. Just the way he's starting to play in some games, and probably that's why they're putting him there as well. And you saw that sort of a little bit at the end of last season, and now at the start of this season that he's been playing there a lot more. So I think that's why. Obviously, something they're working on at training. They're seeing it at training. We're not there to see what happens, and the same thing with Gee. We're not sure why he's not exactly, but maybe something at training he
No, but
wasn't
he did
ready.
say I'm not I didn't make that up. He did say that he had to leave someone out.
Correct, yeah. But he might have seen that George was much better at training over a Gee. That's what I'm saying. We don't know what happens at training. We don't see what they practice and
I
what
mean,
they
even
do.
though I don't like you, that's a fair point.
We don't know, yeah, exactly. We don't know what they do there and what they practice. He might have outperformed him, ran more, done much better at training. He got the chance. Maybe Gee's not quite ready. He went away, let's not forget, to Sunderland, and then he came back. So there's a lot of factors. We don't know exactly why, but I can guarantee you Guy will be there very soon. So he'll probably be there from now on. We'll wait and see with that one. But yeah, with the Tyreek George, I think he's transitioning away from winger. Like I said, he's growing. He's grown a couple of inches, and just his style, the way he's playing, I think he's transitioning away from a winger more into a second sort of striker, maybe even a striker after. We don't know, but when he puts a bit of muscle on and a bit, his body's changing. So yes, I understand. I still probably, play him as a winger, but I can see why they're doing that as well. I just wanted to add that. Um, and he did that, like he was saying, he didn't do well. He did well for us when he did score. If you guys remember the end of last season, he scored that goal. Well, that's when he came on and he played as a second
Okay, that
striker,
was crucial. That was the
in that.
turning point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he came on and played as that position, and he did very well in that game. So Maresca, since that game, he's continued with him in that position basically. So like I said, they must be working on this in training in the background. We don't see it as much, and that's why he's been playing there a lot. So I can see why. I can see why, but yeah, that's a manager's call. That's his call. Hey, you get some right, you get some wrong, but that's his call. If they, like I said, we
He,
don't see what
he
happens in
better
training.
he
Yeah, but
better be as silky as Tammy Abraham were.
I would
Sorry,
I would piggyback off coach though and just
He
say, okay,
better
if
be
you're gonna
as
do
silky
that,
as Tammy Abraham was.
Tammy. Who?
If it's
Sorry, I
going
don't
to be,
understand.
if it's going to stick, if Maresca is going to stick him up there, he has to better be as silky as Tammy Abraham was.
Yeah, that's
Get
that's not
into
the role. That's a different
positions,
role.
get the
Yeah,
goal.
it's a different role completely. He wants him to play up there. It's not that. Yeah,
to piggyback off
Crazy, yeah.
what coach was saying is, look, I just I think he performs better as a winger. If this is what he's being transitioned into, I don't know what's happening in training, but if that's what's happening, then I have to ask, like, okay, like, he had to make space for George, so he leaves Guillou out. Like, why would you recall Guillou from his loan? And,
You
and
get?
if you don't want to recall Guillou from his loan,
it's just one game,
then
Tony. So
then
like I
then
said,
then why are you going to do that with George? I mean, I know, but see, the thing is, like, yes, George's sale fell through, but they were trying to sell him. He was considered surplus to requirements, and that was when they decided to call Guillou.
That's the thing. We're only having this conversation because the deal fell through at the end of the
Yep,
day.
yep.
Meanwhile, we
but he was
had
still
a
playing in the team
certain
and
value
training
for
with the
Bana,
team,
which we
and he was
probably
Right.
have,
playing. So
yeah, which we've never seen, but we chose
But
to
they're
loan
trying
him
to
out.
sell him, and they bring
Okay,
Guillou
let's
back,
let's talk one by
and
one.
I think
Let's
the
let
player
Tony
wanted
drop.
to
Go ahead,
leave,
Tony.
Tony. It's a little bit different. I think the player wanted to leave. We saw that pretty
sure,
clearly from his interview.
Oh, you mean
right,
He
Tariq,
wanted to
right?
move on.
Tyreek.
Tyreek,
Tyreek, yeah, he wanted to
Yeah,
move
Yes,
that's
on.
what I'm
yes,
saying.
yes,
That
he
makes
did
it
because he
even
wanted
more.
more
That's
playing
even
time.
more reason to accommodate Gee,
That's what I.
irrespective.
That's my
Right,
point.
I
That's the
get it.
only
It's
point I'm
important.
making.
Whatever he sees in training supersedes again. Whoever stays. If you're in the squad, you're in squad. Whatever
Exactly.
he sees during training sessions is more important than who wanted to leave and who wanted to stay. But in my opinion, I think I'd prioritize a player that wanted to stay. We sent him out on loan and then had to recall him
Yeah,
But that's just me being sentimental as a fan that I am, and
kind
the way
of.
I
But
see the
there's another
situation.
part to it
But
too.
Tony,
It's
let's
I
just
hear
agree.
like
you.
I agree with that.
if you're gonna, if George's deal falls through, okay, and he's gonna come back, and you know that you're trying to transition him here, then just let Giyu stay at Sunderland and let them develop
Really?
him.
Yeah. Personally, I think why Maresca probably would keep putting George in the same position he's doing right now is probably similar. I think it's similar to what we saw at the Club World Cup with Nkunku. Because if we were
Yeah,
to sell Nkunku without him playing in the Club World Cup, his fee probably would have been lower than what we sold him for. We could not have quoted him for as much as we did. So bring him to the competition, give him playing time, and let teams evaluate, let teams look at it and say, okay, he's up for grabs. I think probably that's what he's trying to do.
All right.
Because I
That,
look,
think if we're going
just
to
to
sell
end
Tyreek
that
George,
might
we're
well
going
be.
to
I think it
demand
makes
crazy
sense.
money.
I think Gee will play from now on. I just think it was
Dante.
a bit too soon for Gee coming back. Maybe that's why. But from now on, I do expect, and I think we will see Gee play from now on.
It does. Yeah.
But there's obviously a little reason there, like something in training, whatever it was for him. He didn't play this game, even if he was left out, because he wasn't there for a few weeks actually. So probably just a little bit too early. He probably wants to see another more training sessions to train a
Mm.
bit more. And who knows, there could be other reasons, but I'm pretty sure Maresca will play Guy from now on in that striking position when he's going to be there
If
more over
Gil,
George, in my opinion.
if he wanted like an interview for Gil, if that word is correct, if he wanted like an interview for Gil, then he had it all in the conference league. Okay. Let's say that was like the kind of teams you met there were like small, like little teams, felt like you were playing League
That
Two,
was a
League
long
Three
time ago.
teams. Yeah, so it's the Premier League. Anyways, I would I stopped pointing fingers at Maresca from sometime last season because
Yeah,
he
we got to
had
trust
proven
his
us
decision.
severally
That's simple as
wrong.
that.
He's proven us wrong severally.
He's certainly
So
earned our
No,
trust. There's
he
no doubt
proved you
about it.
wrong, Imo.
just keep our
We're just
fingers
discussing
crossed.
things that just don't make sense, you know, which we can do. I'm certainly not saying
Yeah, I get
nobody is
you.
saying, well, okay, Maresco, we're starting to doubt you again, or obviously you're an idiot. You know, we just, you know, it's just this discourse that we
For
love.
sure.
Like,
Yeah,
I
no,
wonder
100%.
why,
No,
you
that's
Which
fine.
know,
is
and
why we
I
have the
mean, I guess
show.
we could do that till the
Yeah.
cows come home, but I do wonder why, you know, it doesn't, it doesn't make sense. But, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm with
It
Dante on
doesn't
that
make
one.
sense
I
to us.
mean, we have
Yes.
no idea
Some of
what
No,
he
us, it
saw
doesn't
in
make sense.
no,
training, you
please, you
know?
and Dante shouldn't be friends. You better start disagreeing so people can enjoy the show.
No, I agree with Dante though. I mean, we have, and I always say that we have no idea what the manager saw in training. But I would
Oh
say
my
this:
goodness.
if he continues to, I don't know, but I'm just, if huge if capital I capital F, if he were to continue to throw George up there as a backup to Jao Pedro,
Then
then I
what's
would
up for Gil?
really be scratching my head because at
Here's
that
one
point
thing.
you're just like Giyu's going to get more minutes on loan at Sunderland than he's going to be like being left out of a
Yeah, for
match
sure.
day squad,
100%.
you know?
I 100% agree with that. Yeah.
Here's the thing,
And yeah,
Tony.
why this is going to affect us to an extent is McGill would start having double thoughts whether to continue with
No,
Chelsea or
I
not
think he'll be all right.
come next summer. He
He
probably will be
remember he
looking
knows the
because
manager.
club might start looking at him.
No, I think he
Yeah,
will be all right.
he'll be all
Here's the
right.
thing.
Clubs might start looking
My
at him.
Maresca
question.
does like E quite a lot as well.
Yeah,
So
I think Guy knows he loves him, and I think the reason, again, he went on loan in the first place was just to be sure he continues developing. Because if he stays, he's not going to be playing as much as he should be playing to continue developing. Here's the thing: my question
Hmm.
doesn't go beyond why Guy was left out of the squad. I understand if
Mystery.
Tariq George comes in as number 9, the approach changes. The application, maybe, if you prefer, changes. I don't question that. I don't question how he applies himself on the pitch if he's deployed centrally, because I know it's simple. The approach changes. I don't expect him to start, you could say, applying himself as a traditional number 9. It would be he wouldn't even work against very, you could say, bigger players. It's as a second striker. And you could argue, you could say Dante did bring that to my attention, even though I don't like him. Now he's going to feel like he knows better than everybody here now. But that's by the way. I'm going to give the microphone back to those in the chat and I'll come back to the panel. Dante, let's discuss your viewpoint. Let's hear your viewpoint on the first goal we considered. Then we will still talk about whether, yeah, the second goal, whether it should have been cancelled or not.
Yeah, I want to talk about that second
Yeah,
goal.
I think it's important we talk about that. Yeah, so let's see. Zidane would never. Chimera, just go back to where you came from. Don't talk to me again now. And Hood Billions says, I will never like Maresca if he continues like this. You hate him. How can we compete for being dumb? And you have to elaborate. This is just a general, you use a general phrase in there, maybe. I'm not quite sure what you're referencing. The changes or what the tactics, whatever. You have to be specific, then we can discuss your opinion. Maresca needs to listen to us. I am listen. Okay, be specific so we can discuss your opinion. Chimera says, I was impressed with Facundo. Barely got involved, but he's a gem. Yeah, I think he was able to navigate the Brentford defense when they defended deep. That he was able to navigate the tight spaces, and he did create a few chances that we weren't able to put away. So I think he will be important for us going forward. Maresca needs to be a little bit serious. Okay, you still haven't. Again, I need you to be specific because I'm not sure what you're referencing there. There are the games these are the games we should be winning. We're once again showing another over reliance on Parma. I disagree. I disagree. If do you think if we didn't bring him on with other players that come onto the pitch with him, that yeah, he's still come across as good as he did? No, he's one of our best players, no question. But yeah, George should transition away from this club in January. Wow. And Rich Money Makers. So Rich Money Makers here says, big up to you too. I'm not happy with the drop in points, but at least we have stayed unbeaten in the league, and that's a good thing. But here's the thing with Chelsea, and yeah, that was, you can say, a draw that feels like a loss, unfortunately. But at least we have stayed unbeaten in the Premier League. Hit the like button and also do subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for saying that. And Chimera here is saying um, the training thing is an excuse. Yeah, you always like to fight Dante. Yes, Judge wanted to leave, but I have been told the coach likes Magui. He likes him quite a lot, but I agree with Constantine Dante. There must be a reason Magui didn't start. I agree, but of course, I just have to disagree with Dante. Maresca doesn't call the shots and transfers. They wanted Chalobah sold, and he couldn't do anything about it. Yeah, you have to bring up that nonsense argument, really. According to my sources, the coach likes Magui. Maybe he wants him to have more training to play. I think I agree, but I'd rather him not say why. Saying, listen, irrespective of the reason why Gui wasn't included in the squad, the fact that he said he had to leave someone out and decided that to give what's his name, maybe misinterpretation, maybe that's a chance that's the case. He wants to give Tariq Judge more minutes. Maybe language was an issue there. Like you said, led to me interpreting it the way I did, and others too, not just me. But that's by the way, Dante. Let's hear you. The first goal we considered. Uh, let's hear your view on that.
Yeah, look, the the ball. We like Tosin. He's actually a very good defender. He organizes the line very well. If he's got one weakness, it's probably that what we saw there. He did recover very well, and to be honest, he actually closed the shot down very well as well. The player actually shot the ball. It was a bad shot, and he reflected, from inside his leg and went in. That ball was not going in. It was a horrible shot. It would have gone straight to Sanchez. So they did get a bit lucky with that goal that they did score. So he actually recovered well, but that is probably one of his, little weaknesses, that initial acceleration when we're playing a high line. And if someone gets in behind, most of the time they'll get to the ball first. and then he usually jockeys the player and tries to catch up. That's one of his little weaknesses, and we didn't see him play much last season when Maresca played like that. It was always the other defenders. He played more when we played a little bit different, or there was there was a striker he needed to mark, someone tall, physical, in the air. He usually played in those games a lot more than actually games like this when we were quite a high line, and they sit back in a really low block and they transition quickly. So that's who we have available now. So he has to play.
I mean,
So
you could argue he had to play because of the absence of Cole
of
Palmer,
course, that's why.
because
Yeah, yeah.
he's the second in terms of he's the closest thing to Cole Palmer we have available, and in terms of his passing ability and the line
Yes.
breaking passes from the defensive line, you could argue, yeah, he had just had to start. But go ahead. You know,
Yeah,
I
he has
like
to
doing
play. That's
tappings,
what I'm
right?
saying. Yeah, Maresca didn't play. He didn't play that many games when we played against teams like this last season because of that reason. He's obviously seen that, uh, not as good in those when there's a lot of space in behind him. He can struggle with initial acceleration. But he did actually. You got to give him credit. He recovers well. He recovered well. He put the block on. I'm a bit unfortunate, like I said, the shot ricocheted inside of his leg and went in. Otherwise, it wouldn't have gone in. So,
Did you
um,
see a lack of proper coordination between him and Fafana to an extent? I think I did notice that
yes,
because he
yes,
was
that
even
as well.
pointed. They weren't too sure
Absolutely.
who was going to do what. And
Yeah, even after the
had
goal,
they been able to sort that out quickly, chances are they would have had the opportunity to double up on the player and made it more difficult for him. But Tosin had to. You could say I think he had to do a lot more because Fafana wasn't too sure what to do coming back from the right hand side and was at one point actually jogging because he wasn't too sure how to help.
after the goal went in, you can actually see
Tosin's
Tosin a bit
frustration.
frustrated,
Yeah.
frustration, and sort of with his defenders almost saying, "Why was there no one helping me out?" So,
Right.
of course,
Dante,
yeah,
I'm not
and
sure
I
if
think
you were
that's
in
why
the
you saw
chat yet,
Fofana
but we
come
were
off as
talking
well.
about
Yeah.
Fofana being really slow to get back to help Tosin.
He was, yeah, he did. His reactions were not very good, but I mean, that's he's been out that long. It's yeah, I mean, it's gonna
Unfortunately,
happen.
he still comes across as raw. And I'm not sure if you were here when I talked about, you can say, presented my theory on why he still comes across as raw. Because yeah, he hardly ever stays fit. He again since we signed him, well, before we signed him, he was on the verge of peaking. And then after joining us, yeah, it's been one injury after the other, leading
Yeah,
to
and he's
him
missed
not playing that much, in turn,
two
leading
years
to him
basically.
not being
Correct,
polished as
coach.
he should be by now. And I can assure you, had he been playing, had he stayed fit and played continuously, he'd be better polished than he is right now.
I'm not sure if anyone
A hundred
remembers this. I may be remembering
percent.
wrong, but wasn't Fofana injured when we bought him?
Was he really?
Fofana was injured from Leicester when we bought him.
Yes, that's what I thought.
He was.
If he's
But
injured,
He's
yeah,
always
I
I
been
don't
imagine.
injury
remember.
prone
No,
since
But
then.
one
yeah,
thing I remembered is that I was concerned, and we did go through the list of injuries he's had before we signed him. Except that then we agreed that I think one of them listed as he at one time he had COVID, but the broken leg we didn't count. The COVID we didn't count. But there were a series of injuries all chained, like one after the other, hardly a break between them, and we were concerned at the time. I think it was Poppy that argued he's still young, he will outgrow it. Then it was later on that I learned from Dante his leg structure. I'm not sure how correctly to phrase that, but in Nigeria we called that K leg. Uh, sim- simply means that yeah, he will always he'd always
Injured, right?
get injured, yeah, easily. But good,
It's
Dante, were you still speaking or you
sorry.
done? And it's Tony.
Uh, yeah, thanks for adding that, coach. KK Fofana, yes, that's his nickname. Yes, but it just it's a much higher percentage of getting injured. Yes, when you have your knees like that,
What's the
it's just
correct
proven.
medical term
So
for it?
I was actually surprised. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly the correct
Okay,
medical
I'll stick
term.
with K
No, I
leg.
don't know
But go
the
ahead.
exact. I just know K leg. That's what I know. We always call the K leg. Yes, it's like I said. I had a player I played with exactly the same, always injured, exactly the same. legs exactly.
What
He
do we
always had a
have to
problem with his
say? What
knee.
do we have to say for what's his name? Lavia, because
I
I
think his case
definitely
is
Love is
don't know
his
what to
case.
much the
think of
problem.
him.
In this case, you could argue he was again overplayed. Nothing was Southampton they ran him into the gutter. But we get to Lavia anyway. But Tony, let's
Don't worry
hear
about
you.
Love now.
Your thoughts on the goal. Were you still speaking and we cut you off? Apologies.
Yeah, the
No,
goal. So
no. Oh,
with the
sorry.
goal that they scored, uh, the second goal technically should have been offside. Yes, because the player did make a
Who
movement
flicked it?
towards the ball. He missed
Did
it.
Tosin flick it or the Brentford guy? Because if it was
No, no, the
Tosin,
Brentford guy flicked it.
even if
So it's not offside
okay,
initially because you can't be offside from throw in. So you're not offside from that. But when he flicked it on, uh,
that changes the whole scenario.
the player then swung at the ball. So he made a movement towards the ball from an outside position. He didn't hit it,
Sorry,
but
we're on
it's
the
by the
second
letter of
goal
the
now.
law that's
Yeah,
still
just making
offside.
sure.
I mean, you can speak about both. You can talk, when you get to speak, you can speak about the first goal and then the second goal. But
No,
Dante,
but I
go
mean,
ahead. Let's
Dante,
hear
you're
you.
talking about the second goal now.
The second goal, yes, yes,
Okay,
second
okay.
goal.
The second.
Yeah, we moved from the first goal, so there's nothing more about to add that. Like I said, a bit unlucky from Tosin. He tried to block it. He got actually recovered well. We talked about Fafana. He was a bit slow to react. Didn't really support him. So nothing more we can say about that one. That's pretty much what it is.
I
But
did say it was pretty much like a replica of what we considered against Fulham.
I mean,
yeah,
yeah, the same thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
And probably they knew they were going to get such chance, but I think we had the opportunity to stop that. But a bit of, you can say, lack of proper coordination between the two defenders that had the opportunity to stop it led to, yeah. But
Go ahead,
Also,
Dante. Yeah, sorry.
Austin probably should have won that. He should really have won that header. He's probably the tallest guy on the field. He really should have won that first header from the throw in. But they kind of got in each other's way. Chalobah was at the front and he just jumped and wasn't even nowhere near it. So that kind of put Tosin off as well. And then the other player got it from Brentford. So probably disappointing that Tosin usually wins probably 95% of those, maybe even higher, 98%. He wins those headers. He's so good in the air because he's obviously tall and he gets to it very well. He's always clearing it. But so disappointed he didn't get to it. And probably disappointed there was no one on the back post sort of ready for a flick on. I think Garnacho was there, Reece
Ganacho
James
was.
around that area as well. So that was disappointing that they didn't set up much better for that, that type of throwing. So yeah, look, it is what it is. But by the letter of the law, it should have been offside, yes, because the player did make a movement when the Brentford player flicked it on. He made a movement towards the ball, and that's automatically offside. But I don't know. They didn't give it. Didn't give it. It is what it is.
they
But
checked it.
they did check it. But let's not forget what happened the previous before the international break. So you know why that was let go from the.
That's exactly what I thought. When it
Yeah,
has
there's
to
a
do with Chelsea,
lot
we
of
have we
speculation
have
that
those
they're like, okay, we
compromises.
we need to even this out a little bit. Just ridiculous.
We
It
had
is
those
Yeah,
ridiculous.
go ahead,
compromises when
Tony.
it
Let's
has
hear
to be
your
Chelsea.
thoughts on that on the goals,
I
both.
wouldn't be surprised that they actually missed it because they're that incompetent lately as well. So yeah.
Good
All
lord.
right, let's hear you, Tony. Your thoughts on the goals.
We could have an entire stream on the officials in the FA, but we'll just leave it at that. I mean, it's. I don't see how you're, the richest, the best, richest league in the world, and you have the worst officials. But that's a story for another day. We talk about that every week. I
I
don't
think
get
they
it.
like the
It's
headlines, Tony. I think
bananas.
they like to be in the headlines.
It's bananas. Yeah, well, that's one thing we said at the pub today with our supporters group. We're just like, what is it with all these refs? They just constantly want to bring attention to themselves. Like they need the camera on them. They need to make it about them. And at first I'm like, oh, it's mainly Anthony Taylor, but it's like they all follow his lead now. It's just like, oh, let me just make this a dramatic moment about me. Anyway, this second goal, here's my thought on it. Yeah, could be offside. Yeah, maybe Tosin should get a header there, but I don't know. And you guys mentioned it briefly, but no one's talking about this. This is another replay I watched over and over again. I'm going to tell you something like, do you know who fell asleep on the back post there? It was Garnacho. He absolutely switched off. And his man blew right by him. And if anyone was in doubt, you can absolutely see it on his face
No, no,
after
yeah,
it happens. You can
yeah. He
like
realized
right
that you
before the
should have done
camera
better.
pans off of him, he's his head is up in the sky and his eyes are closed because he knows what he just did. I mean, he just let that guy creep right by him, and he was completely open in on goal on the back post. So I understand all the nuances of, oh, he's new and he hasn't been playing for. I get it, and that's fine. I'm just saying, the reason why your boy was in on goal on the back post is because Garnacho absolutely switched off. He totally lost his man.
His
Yes,
new, his
I'm
new, his
sticking.
new.
I'm sticking again. I just want to stick with the fact that Tosin could have done better. Honestly,
Not just
um,
Tosin, more of them.
more
The
of them. Yeah,
collective.
exactly.
They should have
They weren't.
organized that
Yeah,
set. They should have organized much better that play. They should have. They were all over the place. There was no organization. They really panicked, in my opinion. They just three of them jumped like there was no organization. You have to have someone around the back post for something like that. It's the last minute, basically. It's not like in play, normal play. It was the last minute. Have someone in the back post for insurance. That's where your leader's got to step up and organize it a bit better. So I was disappointed a bit with that. Yes, Garnacho was way off, but he was way out of position anyway. He wasn't set up properly in the first place.
yeah. Again, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna blame Garnacho. Yeah, he was on the guy that lost the guy that put the ball in the back of the net. But that's by the way, Histon. I don't think there are. I don't have. Uh, I'm not gonna blame the manager for too much. He had to do
And
what he
just
had
one
to
more
do.
thing, sorry, coach. One more
Sorry.
thing to add. The guy that took the throw in as well, he went over his mark by a lot.
Yeah, a couple of reasons why that should have been again cancelled. But go ahead.
And I saw Cueva, our set piece coach. He was going mental on the sidelines. He was not happy. He was trying to make that point to the referees, but weren't listening. So, yeah, that was missed as well, actually. And that's what something VAR should have seen that as well. It's pretty, but we know why. Obviously, they let it go. But that's actually, if you're looking at the letter of the law, that's way over. He went way over 10 yards. So, yeah, that should not be allowed as well.
Wow, interesting. I don't know. I again, I'm not sure how to make of it, but it is what it is. It has happened. And Mansa Musa here says that Jamie Gittins has zero upper body strength, zero personality, zero heart. He plays like he's playing church football. Wow. Jesus Christ.
Come on, guys.
Something on Gittins though, that and I know that the Bundesliga is different, and we've had our
Give him a
share of
break.
horror stories from transfers from the Bundesliga, but Gittins stats wise over the summer, number one dribbler in Europe. He certainly he's very technically gifted. He certainly has good dribbles. To me, he
Yes.
just looks like someone who's just like, oh, okay, I gotta, I there. He has way less time, and things are way more physical here. And
And quick as well.
if
So.
he can adapt to that, I think he will be dangerous. But because he's got
I
the
think he
technical
will.
prowess, but he looks like somebody that's like defenders catch him off guard, like they're there a step sooner than he expects them to be there. And for me, that just screams of, I'm not used to this physicality and pace and speed, which is normal. You're gonna have to deal with that bringing people in from the Bundesliga.
No,
And just the
I
way,
think he will be fine.
against low
Houston,
blocks, it's
yeah, go
even
ahead,
harder.
Dante.
Yeah. Against low blocks, the wingers, most wingers are not very effective, not one-on-one wingers. We saw Madueke, we saw a lot of wingers struggle when we play low box. So that's when you have to have different type of profile players, like Brentford playing five at the back. So they will always have two players on him
Yeah.
if he gets isolated. So it's very hard for a winger in those situations. Yes, he can do a bit better, but I'm
Mhm.
giving him the benefit of the doubt. Like you said, he's a great technical dribbler at pace. I think when we play certain opposition, he's going to become very handy, and he's only going to get better. It's
Mm-hmm.
people forget even though he's still very young, he's a young kid still.
How
He's
many
going to
games
Mm-hmm.
get
into the
better and better.
season?
What's that,
This
coach?
is the 4 games. This is week 4, right?
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, Cucurella is a good example. Everybody wrote Cucurella off after a few weeks. So, I mean, players sometimes need a bit more time to adapt, especially coming from another country, probably even more than
We
ever.
we were so close to selling Cucurella to Manchester United, or was this gonna
Oh
be
my
a loan?
God.
I
That's because
don't know how
Pochettino would
Oh.
not
that
play him.
deal
Yeah.
fell through.
Yeah.
I was so excited. I was so
Mm.
excited.
Yeah. So
Some
some players
mistakes should
need
never
some
be
time
made.
to adapt.
We got
Just
away
like
with
you
that
said
one.
perfectly, different pace. He's adjusting. He'll get better and better. These players will get better. They came in. Garnacho will. I think
Yeah.
still be pretty good. He actually Garnacho looked good when he came. He didn't offensively. He looked pretty
I
good.
mean,
So
Ganacho, I think the only
I
thing he needs to adapt to is the manager's approach. In the terms
correct.
in,
yeah,
Yes.
in,
Yes.
in Gittins'
I don't
case,
have any doubts with Ganacho though. I don't have doubts with Ganacho.
No, he's
He
used to the
just
Premier League
needs to
pace. Yeah.
understand the
He's got it.
system in Chelsea is different from what they were doing at Manchester United.
Yep.
yeah, yes, and I mean, it's because we're Chelsea, and uh, on paper, as we did say, I did say during the
And the price
match
tag.
preview.
People looking at the price tag as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, Gittins for me, I think he will come good. Um, the signs aren't bad, really. He's not been that poor as people are making it to be. Because yes, then the truth remains, humans. When we expect so much from someone, they will never do enough to. They hardly. Again, it's usually difficult to do enough to please us.
Yeah.
He's not been that poor, really.
No, he hasn't.
Moreover, it's the Premier League.
Exactly, and
We
he's
can ask
we may.
Savino.
Yeah, it may end up being that sort of situation where he'd be one of our key players in Europe, but in the Premier League,
Oh,
it will take
100%.
him a lot. It will take
You
him
yeah,
again.
you
Yeah,
get
it will take
yeah.
him time to adapt. We've seen that before with Kai Havertz. Wasn't the best in the Premier League for us. Still did good enough,
Yeah.
but in the Europe he was brilliant. Gittins he might end up being that sort of player, but I still think he'd do well in the Premier League. Honestly,
When we play
I'm not
against teams,
concerned one
coach,
bit.
you'll see Aston Villa, Newcastle, these teams that play more open, that he's going to get those one-on-one opportunities a lot in a game. Against when we come up against Barcelona, when he plays in Europe and those type of games, you're going to see Giddens shine. That's his bread and butter basically. So
Yeah.
against low blocks, he's never been that good, and like most wingers, one-on-one wingers like that, are never really that good against low blocks. When there's five defenders and there's two against you,
Yeah,
that
and
they
but
struggle.
Maresca loves those 1v1, those like 1v1 explorers, I think I've heard them referred to as
He does, yeah,
the one-on-one. But so like what
for
do
two
you
reasons, Tony.
what do you think the answer is then for the low block if you're a winger in Maresca's system? Do we have, based on his system and the kind of wingers he's gotten, do we have the profile of wingers to be able to pick apart low blocks, or should we have gotten, you know, a 10 like Jobby Simmons who's pretty good at picking locks, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That would have been ideal. Someone like that who can play left wing but tuck in,
That's
overlapping. Yes, I think that, uh, and that you will see Gittins get better at it once he gets used to Cucurella doing that. He's never had a player do that next to him like that. So I think that's also important. He's got to get used to that as well, the way we play. So, but yes, Mariska loves his one-on-one wingers wide. Why? For two reasons: keep space, keep the width. If they're not effective, taking players on, they are effective as creating space and basically like almost like decoys in a way. So there's two sides to that part. That's why he likes playing like that. But against low blocks, yeah, you got to have the right players around as
ball.
well. Like you said, like a Javi Simmons would have been perfect. João Pedro can play that role very well, but unfortunately, we're a bit hamstrung as with strikers at the moment. Hopefully, that will change. He can play that role very well against low blocks.
You could also argue that the absence of Estevao didn't help. I think he would have made
Well,
a
that's the
whole
only
lot.
reason Buonanotte played. To be honest, he wouldn't have played if Esteval would have
For
played in
sure.
that role.
For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
And I thought
and
he
that would have
was
made a
going to
big
start.
difference.
Like I hadn't heard that he was sick. So when I didn't see him in the
I thought he
lineup
was going to
or
start
on the
too. Yeah,
bench, I was like, "What?"
Oh, he was definitely starting. Yeah, 100%. He would have started in the
Yeah.
10 for Parma in that 10
But
position for
I
sure.
mean, I would imagine he would be fatigued though. But I mean, look, João Pedro was able to go, so I would imagine he would be able to go. But
but
I just
then
didn't know
looks
he was sick. It's unfortunate.
did Tony did Joao Pedro look 100% to you?
Uh,
He
no,
did.
but I mean, which is understandable, right? But to be fair, I don't know that anyone was going to agree with me, but I don't personally. Yeah, someone mentioned earlier. I'm sorry, I forget who. Someone mentioned earlier that it looked like people were like picking him out and marking him and saying be on him, which it makes it a little bit tougher, especially if you're just jet lagged and tired a little bit. And but to be fair, he didn't look that. I mean, a little bit, but not that far off the pace. Honestly,
No, not
I
that
don't think
far off.
I don't think he got a lot of great service today for
No,
whatever
No,
he
he didn't
reason.
get
didn't.
much service.
Down to
No.
the fact that we had, you can say, one of our most creative players on the bench in Cole Palmer.
Yeah, and just real quick side note about Palmer because I never got to address this. Just real quick side note is like I mean we know he's amazing. He's Cole Palmer, and yes, he missed. He could have had a hat trick. He missed a couple other chances, probably easy. Um, but I was just amazed at him when he came on. Even I don't know why he was hanging on the left for a while. I'm sure it was a tactical decision by Maresca, but just he just came on and it was like he didn't miss a beat. I thought for sure I was like, okay, because like they were acting like, he might be ready, he's close. And I mean, he
That's
came
what
on
happens when you're hungry.
and
Yes.
just hit stride, like he hasn't even been out for a few weeks with an injury or anything. I know it just seems like an understatement when you're talking about Palmer, but I was so impressed.
That's because he missed football, and he actually played better, right, when he was playing for a long time, and then he wasn't playing that well. But he looks better
Hmm.
now, being unfit. I think that's because he's hungry. He loves football so much, and he just loves it. And
Hmm.
he missed it so much. He didn't play, obviously. So I
I
think
don't
that,
think he
yeah,
would
a
have
player
played
like
even
that,
a minute if it wasn't for the fact that we had to,
no, he
because
wouldn't
to
have played.
change
Yeah,
things
No,
around to
same.
try
Yep.
and win the game.
Yeah, no way. You would want to protect that, but I
Yeah.
think that was a hey, if you're good to go, Palmer, let's go try to win this. And to be fair, I thought we were until that second goal. As soon as Caicedo hit that absolute screamer, which we were just saying like today, the group was like those are like the
And
only goals that he scores, are just worldies. I mean, and I thought that was that. My call for the game today was 2-1. So I thought, all right, and that goal right at the death, it's took me off guard.
Just
But I feel like we
he's
need to
just
give
got
props to
that.
Caicedo too, man. That was a rocket.
Yeah, it was a fun. Yes, then I'm going to say this quickly. I know, Emo, you wanted to say something. The truth remains, Casado, as
Yeah,
well as he played today, for me, he didn't look 100%. He did come across as a bit tired. Yeah, but Emo, go ahead. You wanted to say something.
Mm. He wasn't too bad. He was still putting
yeah.
the challenges in
I
and
was
winning the balls back
just
quite a lot.
Yeah, he wasn't. He didn't come. I get it. 8.2 rating. You can argue man of the match performance, but still didn't look 100% for me. I'm not saying he's a bad player. Maybe it's just me.
I
I think
think
he
all
wasn't
our
involved as
internationals
much,
looked a bit
coach. I
tired,
think that's
especially
Yeah,
the
probably
he
why.
South
wasn't. Yeah,
Americans, because I mean they have to travel across the world to get back. It's just insane.
unfortunately, a lot of people don't consider that. They don't consider the travels an issue. And I've followed football long enough that if I'm doing a predicted lineup, I consider the travel distances. Didn't do one. The YouTube shots predicted lineup that I usually do didn't do one because I wasn't able to calculate again to look at the distances they travel to be able to tell who's going to start and who's going to start. It's a serious factor, but a lot of football fans they don't care. I've heard somebody told me on X, yeah, he had 2 weeks to prepare, and I was going to ask him 2 weeks to prepare with who and who. You get the point, but
Well,
I
and
just
but
yeah.
just real quick, all of this stuff, it really just dog piles on it because I mean it's the international break, it's the traveling,
It adds
it's the
up, yeah.
guys who have to travel way farther and then completely like way off different time zone and
Mhm.
have to come back and be ready just within like a couple days and all of this, but on top of all this, I mean I'd be interested, honestly. I'd be interested to watch. I haven't gotten to watch them yet this year, but I'm gonna watch some of PSG too to see. Maybe this week or next week to see. I don't know. Maybe watch some replays to see if they have any fatigue. Because I mean, us and
They
them like
rotate a
went
lot, Tony.
all the way to
They've
the end of
actually
the
been
Club World
struggling a
Cup
bit of
and
late.
had no break and came right into the season and right into
that's
the
that
traveling all the way back out to the
They've been
international break and
struggling
then right
too.
back here. These guys are
They've been
just
that's
playing
struggling a
right
bit.
because
so
Yeah.
I think
many minutes, so much
the
football.
entire
I don't
PSG
know that
team
the human body is designed for
I
that,
think
man.
they have Dembele out, and what's that? The other kid.
because
No, no, no. The other key that we were looking at that two transfer windows ago.
Barcola. Yeah.
Bacola, yeah, Bacola is out. Dembele is
Yeah.
out, and you can argue the same issue with us. You can say the lack
Yeah.
of preseason, and yeah, it's affecting them
The,
too. But
the
this
only
is
thing
not
is
us
they have.
making excuses because yeah, we had the chances to win this game, just like we had one excellent chance against Crystal Palace. That yeah, I'm not blaming him. That Andreas Santos ballooned. But go ahead, Tony. You were speaking, and it looks like your internet
No, I'm
connection.
good. I'm back.
Okay,
Yeah, I
He
fat
cut out.
fingered
Yeah.
something. I'm back. Sorry. Go,
okay. No, no,
let's
no,
let
no
Emo
worries.
talk, I guess.
Yeah, Imo, were you saying something? Imo?
Yeah, thanks for pronouncing that correctly.
Nah.
um, uh, I was
He
just
likes to
gonna
say names like
throw a
that. Don't
little
worry about him.
on. Sorry, I didn't get that.
And like, don't worry about coach. He likes to, really
Butcher
say
people's
names in a
names?
different way. He
Yeah,
likes to be different. That's why.
yeah, yeah, definitely. That's one of for him. Um, I'm just going to talk about that PSG team. Yeah, I am going to watch their game. I think that tomorrow they play against Lens or so and see how they perform because yeah, we all went all the way to the final, so they should be getting fatigued as well. And literally, their first team players, all of them were on duty on the international break. I'll just see how it goes for them. But that's really not our business. We play in a tougher league. We play in a tougher league, a more
Exactly.
physical teams, and so we definitely don't expect the same level as to theirs. So they could just come up with anything and maybe win 2-0, 3-0, or 3-1 or 2-1 or something. That's them. But ours is definitely different. Anyways, for Caicedo, I think we just got 50% of N'Golo Kante, the kind of goals he scores. Those are like quite close to what Kante scores. It doesn't always pops up. He just pops up from nowhere and he gives you a screamer, stuff like that. So Caicedo, I expect at least like even when he's not like fully fit, 50% of a normal Caicedo, but he did a lot for us today. Basically, in
No, I'm
every
not
game,
saying he's
Caicedo
bad.
usually
I'm just
pops up.
saying
I'm looking
compared
to
to
Darius to go.
how brilliant he's been since the start of the
Yeah,
season.
You know, one of
yeah.
the things I thought we would see though
Well,
is
we haven't really seen much, but he's been consistent.
well, I was just gonna say like what
Hello, you
I
say?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead. Were you saying something?
Well, who, me or Emo?
No, I thought you were saying something. Emo, when you interjected, he was waiting for you to say what you want to say.
Oh, I think there's a delay. Sorry about that. No, I was just saying like on the topic of Caicedo, like, and we're talking about South Americans, like I don't understand why Lavia is still hurt. I mean, sorry, it's getting back to Fitness, but I'm not sure why we didn't see Andre Santos today. I thought for sure that he might be able to come in and slot into midfield because I'm really worried about overcooking Caicedo. Of course he's tired, but it's like,
I think
Cuckoo has his
I think
backup. Caicedo doesn't have
I
his
think
backup, and he won't for months.
if he had come in, that Santos would have been for Enzo Fernandez. I think I've seen
Probably.
Maresca do that before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Darius Sugo is more like a direct, not
Right,
more like I think a direct replacement for backup for
right,
Caicedo,
for
and he's
Caicedo.
been out injured. Yeah, and
But
he's
he's
been
not
out
here,
injured.
so what do we do? I mean, is Caicedo's only backup
No,
Lavia now
I
because
mean,
he's kind of all around, or
Could be also looking for
We
the
cooked
Bayern Munich
Caicedo.
game.
We
Don't be
cooked
surprised
yeah,
he might
Caicedo.
start in the Bayern Munich game.
yeah.
what
I
is
mean,
it?
he
We cooked
could.
Caicedo for the Munich for the Bayern game. We need him. So I think I understand what you say. So that's what I was thinking. So instead of playing Tariq George up front, why not just Maresca just try since you want to experiment? Put him in Fernandez's position, bring in Santos, and replace Caicedo with Santos. Since you want to be experimenting with Tariq George, I mean, you could just do that because Caicedo, if if he picks up enough, we're doomed.
One thing I'll just add to the
Yeah, like what
Caicedo
happens
thing.
if Caicedo goes down right now? You know, like,
Yeah,
Lavia is not even ready yet. That's my
That's
absolute
why I'm
terror.
saying would basically would would cook.
look, there is some
I don't
players like Caicedo who love playing game after game after game. That's when they're the best, and that's what they do. They, some players are like that. They just like playing every game. They want to play every game. Yeah, you try to protect them, but that's what that's just what they do, and they're good at that, and they don't like not playing at all. So
know.
sometimes these players, it's better to let them play sometimes and not take them off, because there is always one or two exceptions, players like that just play every single game. We've always had players like that play consecutive 3-4 seasons in a row, never have a break. Some players are just like that. I think he's that type of player, to be honest,
Hazard
and I think that's why he
Hazard
keeps
had that
playing a lot as
for
well.
then went to Real Madrid
So if he
because he
does get
did.
injured, though, what do we do? Because obviously Lavia is not fit yet, and who's to say that he's going to stay fit when he is? You know, like what do we do?
Exactly why I asked that question.
Yeah,
What's
we
up
talked about him getting injured.
with Lavia? I don't think we actually. I didn't think we needed Lavia when we signed him. I thought perhaps we were trying to get back at Liverpool when they help us
Nah,
drive.
no, we needed him. Maresca used him. If you remember, every important game he used him. We
Yeah,
always played with two
he did.
DMs when
Yeah,
we
but
came against
we
against
knew
it. So
we knew
Maresca really likes
he
Lavia. He
was
will
injury
play him a
prone
lot.
anyway.
I think we're not. We're talking. It doesn't look like Emo is using an app again a headphone. I think he talks again. We're talking over each other, but I know it's not
Might be some delay,
intentional.
coach.
Maybe a
Yeah, might be
delay.
some
Yeah.
Yeah.
delay.
Mhm.
How do I sound?
No, no, you sound good. It's just that we're talking over each other, which could be as a result of maybe delay in
Oh yeah,
communication or transmission
yeah.
or something like
Oh
that. Yeah.
okay, yeah.
So let me read a few of the comments we have here. 2 points lost. Chelsea in danger in the championship. No, I mean I think you mean Champions League or Championship. I don't know. Champions League. Yeah. Okay. Championship League. A very vital 2 points. God knows who will rescue them. Garnacho played well. Need another player who has the ability to change the game. I think we're good. I think what's not starting Cole Palmer was the plan. He
That's
had
by
to
the
come on because we needed to
that's by the
score
way.
and
What
win.
are people saying?
Yeah,
Arsenal dropped 3 points.
they lost the
Arsenal
game
lost
actually. Not they didn't
lost the
just
game.
drop three. Yep, that's the one you're mentioning. That to use a more specific language, they lost the game, and we haven't lost
Yeah.
any. It's just that we drew two. But go ahead, Imo. Go ahead. Apologies for cutting in.
No. I just wanted to make that clear. That Arsenal lost the game.
Oh yeah,
They
yeah.
did.
They did. City
Yep, they
City
did.
lost two. They've lost two in total. Yeah, right. But that's not me trying to, you could say, to make excuses. I think once again we had the opportunity to win that game. It is what it is. It ended the way it did, and we move. Not mad. I'm not too mad at the manager. At the same time, I didn't like the fact that yeah, we had two newcomers and for lack of a more relatable specific language on the left hand side, leading to us not being effective on that part of the pitch. That's actually reflective on the rating. You see, on the
Yeah.
right hand side, we were just you could say near perfect actually. But left hand side, you see it. But a note he wasn't bad, but still wasn't perfect. Gittins wasn't, I wouldn't say his fault, but he wasn't, you can say, not good enough on the day. You're hard to see, looked off. And like Kante, I think Dante, you've mentioned that he was just, he played cautiously. And which is fine in my
Very
opinion.
cautious.
And the truth remains, had we won this game, even if we went up, even if we won it by 2 goals to 1, I don't think a lot of people will be complaining.
Nah.
I
Oh, of
I,
course.
I know a
Yeah.
lot of people that had we won, they won't be saying the things they're saying on X or whatever they can have listened to them speak today. The fact remains, results change how fans behave.
Yeah.
Most football fans don't know how to speak objectively about again the outcome of a game. They just know, yeah, was supposed to win. I was looking at one saying here, should have used the 16 million we used on Gittins on the proper CV. Had we won, I don't think you'd be speaking about Gittins' performance today. But that's
No.
the average football fan for you.
We saw the
It was
comparison with
sorry.
Madueke. We saw the comparison with Madueke. It
Yeah,
Yeah, they want
definitely
exactly.
Madueke back. A lot of them.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
these are very emotional responses, and I mean I
Very
have my
emotional.
own
Yeah,
theory behind that. Why are people so? And back when I was young, people weren't that emotional back then. If you ask me, this is my little conspiracy theory, but I just think that so many, and I see it mainly in Chelsea because I'm mostly in those circles, but I'm sure it happens in other fan bases. But you have these influencers on X, and and they get more engagement by
by doing that.
inciting rage and by and by making things overly dramatic and kind of embellishing things, and it plays on these people's emotions, and then they get theirs, they get paid because that's their engagement and their reactions. But
yeah.
then it's kind of this proliferation of this. You see the fans now, they just say, I mean, some of the takes are just so boneheaded. It's just like, do you even
It,
think past this 90 minutes? Like, is there anything going on in the back? I mean, when people were going ballistic when it was bad the past few years, I'm just like, has anybody forgotten what's happened since Lukaku gave his interview, or since we lost our club, when our owner had to sell it? Has that's water under the bridge now. But I mean, it's just an example. Like people just zero in on this tiny little keyhole of this one match. And it's like there's so many other extenuating factors, but I think a lot of these content creators play off of that. And I came up with a new term for it. I like to call it enragement. They get engagement from enraging people. Um,
Pretty
but
much.
that's how they make their money, and they know exactly what they're doing. And these people fall right into it. And then they end up saying, like, ridiculous things. And then they fire other people off and up. And then everyone's fighting. And the next thing you know, it's like, guys, look at what happened. Like, it's one match. We got to draw. Like, we're gonna be okay. And the only other thing I wanted to add is I like to think that Maresca is such a brilliant tactician. Personally, I see that,
I think he
especially
is. And honestly, I
what
agree
he
with
did to
you.
PSG. I mean, we're gonna be talking about that for years. I mean, he absolutely
that
beat the
that
brakes off
that's
them,
true. That's
but I mean, but my point is that I think he's going to look at today. Yes, he had to make rotations, but he's going to look at things like Gittins and Hato on the left, and he's going to say, okay, well, that didn't work, and
Gonna learn. Yeah.
probably not going to do that again for a while. Is that to say that he's not going to do it again? No, I mean, maybe these guys they really kick on, and they adapt to the league. And wow, we actually have solid backups, and we've got that whole left side covered with, I hate calling them the B team, but whatever you want to call them, the backups, and we're just as fine. Where we're like Liverpool, where we have depth, but we have quality in depth. Right now, we have depth, but that quality has to be polished out a little bit. You know what I mean? But I just like to think he learns from that today, and he's like, all right, I'm not going to do that again for a while. I learned, lesson learned, and thankfully we didn't lose 3 points for it. So again, I'm not trying to be overly optimistic, but I'm saying, like, much worse things could have happened today. And it sucks because it feels a little more like the loss, and it feels like Brentford like snatched victory from the clutches of defeat, even though they just drew. But I mean, there are a lot worse scenarios, and I'll take this one at the end of the day.
And that's the truth. That's the
He
Very
truth.
well
said
said.
something. Yeah, he said something about Brentford. I personally, I will be so upset if Brentford eventually relegates and we keep this particular record against them because we don't have
Nah,
good
they won't
players.
relegate. Don't worry.
I pray they don't get relegated so we can
They
tame
beat
them.
Aston Villa last week. I mean,
Same
or the
way,
week before.
yes, the
They're
same way
not.
we tamed Brighton, tamed Villa, tamed basically all the teams that were like making mess of us. Brentford is the top of. They are just there at the top of my list. I need them to feel the wrath.
Yeah.
I need,
Let
I
me
mean,
get.
if we had our full team from the start, how do you guys see that game going?
I
I
think
don't think they
probably
stood
we kill
a
it off in the
chance. I
first
don't
half.
think they would have
I
stood a
think it's a
chance.
win with a full team. I think without an international break and just going, match to match and staying
But
in rhythm and in
but Tony,
stride,
you know
I,
that
I think
carries a
I
huge
think I
risk.
think we I think we beat them convincingly.
Definitely,
Wh-
But you know that carries a
they will
huge
not
risk,
keep a
Tony.
clean sheet, but they'll get.
What is it?
You know that carries a huge risk. Starting at the strongest 11 we have, and we have Bayern in 4 days.
No,
That
that's what I'm
carries.
saying. But
No,
he,
Yeah.
no, 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 no,
I
no.
took
We
Dante's
understand.
question as
We
like a
understand.
hypothetical one. Like, hey,
Correct. Yeah.
if we had the strongest team and if we didn't have Bayern and if it's just a normal Premier League week and we're not coming back from an
Yeah.
international break, we probably win pretty handily without the fatigue and all of
I
that.
think so.
Because I mean, the
Yeah.
quality. I mean, it's no doubt the quality is just far more. It's just such a huge gulf. But they got
We
pretty.
basically saw it today. First half, second half. Simple as that.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I'm going to say this. I know I've said this before. Had it not been for the international break, I think we would have won this game. I honestly, we could have
We
won this
would
game.
have.
That's my opinion. Because yeah,
We would.
irrespective of what anybody thinks, I'm not trying to make excuses here. The international break, it breaks momentum, especially for the big sides that have a lot of internationals in their squad. For the smaller teams, they don't have too many internationals, so not much of an issue for them. But that's no excuse because in the end we had good chances to that had we been clinical in front of goal, we'd be discussing a win now. And I don't think anybody would be complaining or like this guy in the chat that I don't know called Kishan talking about how he says we play with no sense of urgency. I don't think that was the issue of the day. That's my opinion. But even though I don't like you, Kishan, I'll read your comment. And okay, he says this brother here says, but we didn't win because of the wrong rotation. To an extent, I agree with you in my opinion, but still, I I will always reference the fact that we had good chances to win the game. Cole Palmer could have scored a hat trick on the day, but you can say wasn't at his best. I'm not saying he played bad, uh, but that's just my opinion anyway. I will always, again, the average football fan will always, the opinion of an average football fan, almost always defined by the outcome of the game. So a lot of people, it takes good understanding of the ball of football to look beyond the surface level and speak objectively of what led to the outcome of a particular game. Kishan here, big up to you, my New York bro. I appreciate you for finding the time to join the conversation. I know you were going to come to say something so that you and I will start fighting. He says we play with no sense of urgency. I don't think so. And maybe the approach on the day, it'd be correct to interpret it as us, not again, interpret it as we didn't play with a sense of urgency. But I think that was the correct approach. Had we gone into that game, especially after an international break, with a scattergun approach, chances are we'd be discussing a loss right now. So a cautious approach was key to us actually leaving Brentford with a point. It could have been worse. And my goodness, Robert Sanchez, yeah, long may that continue. He was brilliant on the day, brilliant between the sticks. And had it not been for his brilliance, chances are we'd be discussing the loss too. So listen, it wasn't perfect, but these things happen. Okay. Was a nice game? I wouldn't say it was a nice game. Uh, Listen, it was as poor as it was, in my opinion. The manager had to rotate. Do I think all the decisions he made in terms of the rotation were all correct? I would say no. I don't like the fact that two newcomers started on the left hand side. As you can see, as it reflects on the ratings here, we were poor on the left hand side, except for the defensive line, we were poor on the right hand side. Tosin and the one you can say the one proper coordination between Tosin and Fofana. Yeah, so that's my opinion anyway. I think we'll be all right. We'll be fine. Things will change. I like the manager because I've always told people I've come to realize that he learns quickly, doesn't hardly ever repeats his mistakes. I'm not saying
Yeah.
he's perfect. Maresca said today's draw was a big hint to what to do next game. Thank you, Viral Loop. For me, I think, yeah, he will change a lot. And next game, he'd know what not to do. That's another way of saying what you just said that I read. What you have, your contribution there that I've read. Ganacho Parma starting against Bayern. I think we'll see that, or maybe I don't know. I think we see Ganacho definitely starting against Bayern. I think so. Cole Palmer will start. I don't know. The defensive line is still a concern for me, except if we operate in a traditional manner. I think if we play against Bayern and still try to do again use the inverted fullback approach, I think that's going to cause a lot of problems. Maybe if Rhys James is the one on the right hand side because he's able to fulfill that role, or maybe the right hand side operates in a traditional manner and Kukurea does his thing on the left hand side. But I think, yeah, unfortunately, we're starting to see that Maresca's most important player is Levi Colwell. I can't even believe I'm saying that. But credit to him for how he improved. They looked in sync, not quite. It was again the first half maybe. A draw is amazing. Not, I mean, it still feels like a loss, but we knew it was going to be difficult. Looking forward to Leeds versus Chelsea. Always good games, yeah. And Leeds doesn't look like they've stopped playing like the way they played when the Argentine, their former manager, the Argentine, high octane football and all that. And this guy I don't like to
Bielsa.
talk with. Big up to you too, Vic. Vic says, I think we have a great squad, but not enough quality in depth. But Maresca will figure it out. Is that Vic? That's unbelievable. Where is Dante? Oh, I feel like singing a praise and worship song, right? You saying this about Enzo Maresca? Oh my goodness. I need to go to church tomorrow to praise God. Unbelievable. You I still don't like you. Jesus Christ, that's unbelievable. From you. I love you, brother. Always nice to see you, but I know you've always been objective. You don't just you can say contribute for the sake of contributing. You always try to speak objectively. You've not always been correct, you know that. But yeah, I think Maresca he will figure it out. I think he's a smart manager. He's proven that he's the right man for the job. He's not perfect. He's made a few mistakes here and there, but I can assure you he learns quickly. He will figure it out. But Vic, nice to see you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. We're back again after the international break. I had to take advantage of the international break to start unpacking. I get it. We moved to Texas 6 months ago. Still haven't completely unpacked. As I usually tell people, packing is easy. Unpacking is the most difficult. And yeah, but I made sure my office I got up and running as quickly as I can. And plus, being very busy. James must start. I think he starts against Bayern, probably in the midfield. But let's see what Maresca does on that day. If anything, he's become predictably unpredictable. Coca must start. Let's see do we have here. Ganacho and Palmer. I think both will start. But nice to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Kendurance, another person that I haven't seen in a while. Kendurance, nice to see you. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the conversation. Tony, I know you're still there. Or if you're in the chat, if you have any questions, drop it. We're trying to address your question. But you know the rules. You don't ask a difficult question. Otherwise, we will pretend we cannot see your question. Okay. I don't know. Emo, do you have any questions or anything you want us to discuss? Or you, Tony, anything you want us to discuss?
I don't know. Other than nothing, I think I just saw a rumor about I think what's his name? Ma, um, Maguire, Chelsea aiming to get Maguire and Mike Maignan on loan. I said on loan for free next summer. I hope it works out.
I think it's believable that yeah that we get Mike Mayor on a free. Why? Because he really wanted to join us at the time, and he did tell his
Yeah,
AC Milan
yeah.
bosses, "Let me join Chelsea, or I will run down my contract and leave." He didn't specifically say where he'd be going, but I remember him. I remember he told them he wants to join Chelsea, and he really wanted to join. He wanted to join us, but they were adding the Club World Cup tax to the asking
Yeah,
price at the time.
that
And I'm happy we
that's
didn't
why.
pay because Robert Sanchez is proven to be an excellent goalkeeper for us. I think he's improving. He's getting better and
I
better.
think we
Yeah.
made the right decision. Who knows if Mike Minor was the person on post on that day, was the one between the sticks. Who knows? Probably we would not have been world champions or so.
Yeah, I think I agree. Actually, Robert Sanchez finished 24-25 season with much better numbers than him.
Yeah,
Even when people were calling for us to move for was the Paris Saint Germain defender in Donoyuma.
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't want us to do
Donnarumma.
that. His high claim is practically zero. Let's see
What's
if he
crazy is I
improves.
think I saw somewhere that Sanchez's save percentage is higher than Maignan and Donnarumma's.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
saying something because I'm still not totally sold on Sanchez, but has he
I mean,
improved?
for
Absolutely. I'm
good
grateful for
reasons.
that. But I mean, to have that number compared to them and he's in the Premier League, I don't know. I think that speaks something.
The issue we actually had with Sanchez was the multiple mistakes, but fixing that has helped him a lot. Not giving the ball away, not
You could
giving up.
say
I think
lapses in concentration.
Yeah, he doesn't look as
yeah,
unsure a lot of
yeah.
times, like a deer in the headlights, as we might say.
But that
Because he
hasn't
looked,
that
yeah.
changed from
That's what I'm saying. He
mid-season
doesn't
from
look as
mid-season
much
to
like
Club World
that
Cup?
now.
Go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
No, it was just saying he doesn't look as much like that now. He used to just
Yeah.
look, he would look lost and confused sometimes. He would stutter step when he
She
shouldn't. He would control the
sometimes
ball in his own box and not even see
I mean
a defender
I
coming
mean,
from his flank on his blind
I
side. And now he seems to be, I don't know, he seems a little more confident. And I again seeing him make some high claims and like really going for it, he's not
The key word,
his depth
if you
perception
don't
seems
mind,
to be
Tony.
better. He's judging his timing of
Yeah,
his jumps
Tony,
better.
if you don't mind, the high
yeah,
claims, the key word, the key
yeah,
phrase, maybe not the word, because yeah, that's high claims, two words. Since mid-season, he's improved in that aspect. You could
Yep.
argue that's one of the main reasons why. That's been one of the main reasons why we've been able to deal with set piece situations better than we did the season before. But go ahead with what you were saying, and I'm happy you mentioned that.
Yeah, no, I mean that's it. I was just saying that there are several things that he's improved, and he still, and I don't know if it's PTSD from like early last year or whatever, but he still once in a while will hesitate just for a second or do something or um and it just it'll just kind of you know make my heart kind of come up in my throat for a second. Like, what are you about to do? But uh, so he still gives me the jitters sometimes. But
Mhm.
because and I think it's his body language. His body language sometimes, but that has reduced drastically. And the
It
point is
has.
like he
Mhm.
seems confident, a lot more confident. I don't know what that's down to. I don't know if it's down to the goalkeeping coaches just harping on it. I don't know if it's him just getting more comfortable with the defenders in front of him that are just more in sync now and used to playing together and it makes him more comfortable. I don't know, but
I
but
think
he certainly has got a
mhm.
lot of jitters out of his game and that performance he put in against PSG, I was just like, man, if you could play 75% of that like most of the time, I would be so happy, but like he put in a world class. I was just like, who is this guy against PSG? I know he ended last
He
season
didn't
well,
look like he
but
was
when
gonna
he
let
played
any go
PSG,
in.
he looked like,
Mhm.
I mean, the best keeper in the world for that match. I'm sorry, he did.
And
His
even before
distribution
that
was
game,
flawless.
yeah. Before here's the thing, I think it's important that we recognize you could say the work that our set piece coach has done. Because Sanchez, he wasn't that good at coming off his line to come claim the ball. But after we signed it, we hired a set piece coach a few months into the job of the set piece coach, Robert Sanchez, became better. He added high number of high claims to his game, which in turn led to you could say added ability to be able to deal with set piece situation, and that has helped us a lot. I think I give credit to the set piece coach, really. And plus, one thing that gives me confidence, and I'd rather we stick with him that you could say sign a goalkeeper who's not as good as him in a panic, is because goalkeepers, they age like wine. The older,
Yeah.
the better.
Yeah. Yeah, they can
Yeah,
just go and go. I mean, there's a couple keepers out there that have gone to their 40, are there not?
Yeah, and the older the better. Actually, honestly, I followed football long enough to know that's the case, and I think he's proven. And you can say his performance is in an upward trajectory, and I hope it remains that way. But it gives again, I think we made the right decision not to have sold him when the rumors emerged that we were looking to sell him, which at the time could have been all rumors, But I'm glad he's still here with us.
Yeah, it's yeah, but yeah, long may it continue. I hope he continues to improve
Mm,
continuously. Yeah, because I don't know. There's just something. I mean, that is a critical part of your, quote unquote spine.
yeah,
You got to have a keeper that, and it's not just is he comfortable, is he playing the kind of football Maresca wants him to play. Two things I'll say, but it's like, are the defenders in front of him comfortable? Because I have seen, like when Kepa was having his, short arm syndrome for a while there and couldn't claim any. I just thinking of the memes with him with T-Rex arms. Like I'm
yes,
still
I
crying
remember
thinking
that.
about
Yeah,
that. But like when like couldn't claim a cross to save his life, I mean, you would see the defenders choke in front of him or make mistakes because they had no confidence in the person behind them and they would make mistakes. It's something to be said about being able to trust your keeper. That goes a long way into how well your back line performs and how confident they are. They need to know, okay, he's got my back, he's got my six, as they might say in the military. Like, I don't need to worry about that. I'm fine, and that makes them perform better too. But
they're all connected. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
bad goalkeeper can affect the performances of the defensive line, of the defenders in front of him. If the defenders are poor, the goalkeeper will be tested a lot. And yeah,
hmm But I just want to say one more thing about the high claims, just to your point, is not only is it such a big deal in the key word, but
mhm.
if you ask me, the one, I don't know how you might say this, like soft skill or just personality trait or just self belief, whatever, something internal that you need, like an internal skill that I think you need for high claims more than anything is confidence. So the very nature of him making more high claims and going after them is um is direct evidence that his confidence has grown, which, because he had a confidence problem before. But as soon as you start seeing a keeper going after high claims, his confidence is on the rise, right?
Wow,
And
that's
so if his
that's a very
confidence is on
strong
the
point.
rise, that's a
Mhm.
really good sign because that was his Achilles heel,
Achilles
right? His
heels, maybe.
indecisiveness.
Mhm.
mm,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
I'm happy. I mean, Maresca is a very intelligent manager, learns quickly. I don't think we see a repeat of the sort of mistake he made today. And according to a quote from his post-game presser, it will not happen again. I can't quite remember word for word what he said, but I'm just happy he's a quick learner and proven that yeah, he's a very intelligent manager and will find solutions to our current issues. I think it very soon actually we'll be having a conversation on how he's solved the problems that were apparent after 3 games into the season that everybody was concerned. It wasn't the you could say the greatest of performances. It wasn't uh because the worst of all. But could have been better. We could have won had Cole Palmer put away the chances he had. And but it is what it is. These things happen. At least we haven't lost a game. Hopefully we'll start winning continuously. Bayern, I think a lot of people, probably If you ask them, they tell you that Bayern are going to mop the Allianz Arena carpet with us. But we'll see that day. The game is played over 90 minutes plus added time.
Why are people saying that?
Because yeah, they don't trust the squad.
I don't
Even
understand that.
after,
Like what about
even after the Club World Cup. Go ahead, what you were saying.
well, I'm just saying. Sorry, that kind of gets under my skin a little bit. Like, what about just because it's Bayern and they're always in the Champions League and they dominate the Bundesliga because they don't really have much competition? Like, I mean, I don't. Yeah, do they have pacey forwards? Yes, but I mean, I'm sorry. We heard this about PSG and we saw what happened. Now you've got guys that they're going to have a couple more days to rest. You got guys that didn't even play today that are going to be rested and get some sleep, some recovery in, have some good training sessions. I'm sorry. Will they win? Will they beat us? Maybe. But mop the floor with us? I just think and maybe I'll eat my words next week, but I just think that's absurd. I think it's
No, it
absurd.
is. But
If you
unfortunately,
look
that's
at the
how a lot of people
quality we
see
have,
football. Yeah.
I think we should instill um, some fear into them as well. I think there should be mutual nerves on both sides. I think that game's a toss up.
Mhm. Yeah, all right, Kim. So nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. And reach money makers. Robert Sanchez six sweep ups. Okay, well, he sweeps up well to prevent Brentford a chance. Around half an hour into the game, could not do much about either of the goals. Yeah, I agree with you. And Kim so here is saying that we should have won this game before the United game. I think we're good. I usually like the manager to learn lessons again that are there for him to learn with regards to the strength and weaknesses of his squad early on in the season. And I think, yeah, this is just you could say a lesson just in time. Another draw against United. It's written on the wall. I think we'll beat United. I think we will, but let's see what happens. We had the opportunity to go first. We're good. I'm not concerned. It's a good thing we haven't lost any, but yeah, we should have a lot more points than we have right now had we been more clinical in front of goal. That game was all for today. Chelsea, ultra nice to see you, my bro. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. And there's something called Boost. If you're following the show on YouTube, check if you can see the boost the channel to foster YouTube algorithm to push our videos streams to more people who be interested in the topics we have lined up. Should be ashamed of themselves. Those two goals were ridiculously easy goals to concede. But you could argue it happened for a multitude of reasons. I'm not trying to make excuses. We haven't had a good preseason. Um, it's just straight from the Club World Cup, a few days break and all that. Those things are a serious factor. Plus, this again, the game happened just immediately after the international break. But that's by the way, it is what it is. I think we'll do a lot better. Next game. This year is a 2-2 draw against Bayern and 1-1 draw against Manchester United. Let's see what happens. I think we'll win one of them, and I think we'll most likely beat Manchester United. We haven't won at Old Trafford since 2013. That changes. Yep. But Kim, so nice to see you. I'm not going to read that little thing there on the screen. I'm going to move on. I'm going to move beyond that. Wesley Fafana, for first starts since March, and he came at a right back, sloppy in possession at times. Didn't have much. Didn't have much work. Much fun on his side maybe, and looked to get forward, but a few wayward passes. No surprises. He still looks raw, and I don't blame him. Not polished yet, because yeah, he hadn't been playing. These fixtures were all winners. I've stopped seeing football like that. Jao Pedro assist again. Yep, he does well. Even though for me, I'd still argue that he wasn't at his best today, but still, a good player will always be a good player. Anything else you guys want us to talk about before we call it a day? Emo, anything
I
else?
don't. I don't think there's anything else. Talking about people writing us off against Bayern. We're used to it. It's the history of the Chels. We
Mhm.
are used to it.
Remember our second Champions League win when we went against Atletico Madrid? We're hearing, oh, bus stop, this is where it all ends for them. Juventus, this is where it all ends for them. And da 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 da. Real Madrid, oh, it's over. They are not getting past Real Madrid. We got to City, end of the road. So it's basically just it's basically just a thing. We don't care who thinks we're gonna win or we're going to be destroyed or whatever. We don't actually care. At the end of the day, we get in there and people cry. People
Yeah,
cry when we
let's see.
get
The
there.
stronger the team, again, the more confident I am. That's just who I am. And Kim
Yeah.
Sohae is saying Maresca rotated today. Was he wrong? No, he wasn't wrong. Look at how many games we
Who
have.
says it was wrong?
Yeah, look at how many games we're gonna play in the span of 10 days. It is. I think we play every 3 days. I think at most four. Uh, he had to rotate. It's just that I don't. I think maybe the players he brought on that started for me should have mixed it up a little more with the established players. But that's just my opinion anyway. Chelsea Ultra said we lacked any urgency on the ball. Our build up was slow and predictable, like last season. They made us work. Okay. Everything then, we just handed them two easy goals. That's the aspect that annoyed me was that we handed them two easy goals. But yeah, early in the season, not bad start so far. I think we can do much better. Parma, yeah, a good finish, but had the opportunity to score two more and it didn't take them. At least we didn't lose. I think that's another way to see it. But one thing I'm going to say, I've said it already. Enzo Maresca is a quick learner. I think he will learn from that and figure things out. Hopefully, City and United, they draw tomorrow to stay in the mud. Do I think it's going to end in a draw? I think City most likely to lose that game. They don't look confident at all, and they're gonna miss. Who is it? Is it Mahmoud who got injured or who? Mahmoud, or what? How'd you say his name again? The Moroccan. He got injured, right? Did he? All right. Would you believe if United win, they will be 1 point behind us? Unfortunately, I think they're most likely to win. Uh, but let's see. That's my opinion. I think that is off the bat uh, prediction. But if I look at the insights from that game, post game, pre game insights, I can tell you what the most likely outcome would be. Look at statistics, goal concession per game for each of the teams, goals scored per game for each of the teams. I'll be able to let you know, yeah, this is how I think it's going to end. 8 points out of 12 should have been 10. A lot more, actually. But look, the signs are good. We didn't have a full preseason straight from the Club World Cup to the season, just two preseason games. If to lose United 1 point behind us, but look, my off the bat, you could say opinionated prediction is that City look they do look like the most likely team to lose, in my opinion. I'm on a downer today, Chip. We're good, bro. We're good. We only got a draw, and my boy Jean Lord Silva get killed in the cage. Yeah, I don't watch boxing actually. I don't remember the last time I watched boxing, bro. I have to be honest with you. Ultraman. Let's see. Embarrassing that the crap United side are 1 point behind us, and we are that good. Are we overrated? I don't think we're overrated. Listen, I'm gonna say this.
Stop. Let what's his name? Kim Soo. Stop
Yeah.
stressing it.
No, no, no.
There's no point
Leave Kim. So
stressing
he's
it.
don't worry, Emo. He's my bro. He knows how we operate. Yeah. Let me say this. Kim. So, um, I'm gonna say it anyway, but I think people will still say, "Yeah, I'm just making excuses." I'm not. Um, we have matured, and this is not the first time we are. This is not the first time we're coming from behind to either equalize or win a game. That shows maturity. And I think the defensive issue we experienced today, I think Maresca will figure it out. We will look back and not believe that we're looking at the same defensive line that considered two reckless goals against Brentford. Maresca is a smart manager, and I don't need to convince a lot of people to realize that, actually that's the case. But much love to you, my bro Kim. So, Kim So and Chelsea Ultra, they're lecturing me. I don't watch UFC, so I don't even know their names. So when I see KO, the first thing that came to mind was boxing. I don't watch UFC. I think the last time I watched UFC was the last fight between was is he from Philadelphia or Georgia? I remember Kimbo Slice. I watched this. I think Kimbo was into UFC too. I watched. Yeah, he was right.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I watched a couple documentaries about him.
Yeah, so I
It's
watched
wild.
Kimbo
Yeah.
Slice in that one time. Then the last UFC fight I watched was for what's this guy? Um, was he from? Is he from Georgia? Not Philadelphia. Kimbo Slice, Philadelphia, right? But the guy in question.
I can't
Oh,
remember.
oh my goodness, he was friends with 50 Cent and all that, but they had an issue. Mayweather. It was Mayweather
Mm.
and was it Mayweather and one guy, not an American. He's into politics right now.
Oh,
He's the,
Conor McGregor?
no, no, not McGregor. McGregor
Oh,
is again is it Scotland or so?
he's Ireland, yeah.
Ireland. I watched this game. I watched his fight too. I watched his fight with Mayweather. I think that was the last one. But the one I was thinking was an Asian guy, Asian like guy. Is he Asian? Philippine? I can't quite remember his name, but that's fine. But I think the last game was his fight against Conor McGregor. McGregor didn't defend himself, and that was a funny fight too. But there was some debate on whether Mayweather should have waited or something to that effect. But that's by the way. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. But what else do we have here? Okay, they're having a conversation about the fight. And who do we have here? Dragon says, I don't know if you remember, but I joined a month ago and told you Ganacho would cost us. No, I wouldn't say he cost us. I choose not to blame him for that goal. The defenders, they should have done better. If anything, Ganacho actually, the few minutes he was on the pitch, look what he did. He got an assist too. Whether you like it or not, I'd give him that assist for the was it the Copa goal? Yeah. Plus, he did put again two more good crosses into the box with intent. And I told people that one thing I like about Garnacho, it's not like Noni Madueke just puts the ball into the box just for the sake of doing so. Garnacho puts the balls into the box with intent. I don't think it will cost us. He will end up being one of our, you could say, best signings of the window. That's not me saying Gittins is bad. Gittins just needs time. But that's my opinion. We'll find out. Again, in due time, we'll find out whether you're wrong and again you're right and I'm wrong, or vice versa. Let's see what else do we have here. Okay, there's still thank you, Rich Money Makers. Anything, guys, or should we call it a day?
Yeah, I just wanted to say one more thing I feel like needs to be said, and that
And
is
just quickly, Tony, Manny Papito was the name I was looking for.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
he's more like a mayor right now in this country. But go ahead, Tony.
um no, I was just gonna say, we've talked about it a lot, just all the underlying factors. We went all the way to the Club World Cup final. We got like no break whatsoever. We came right back into the season, international break. So we've outlined all that earlier on. But the reason that I want to just kind of reiterate that again, and then just kind of moving forward, and we've even talked about like fans' emotions. I just think for the club, for the players, for the fan base, just I'm certainly not making excuses, but I think it's really important that we not temper our expectations, but I think we need to brace ourselves because, these next 3 months are going to tell us a lot. They're coming thick and fast, the matches, like you said. Um, but also it's the fatigue, but also just some of these guys just had no depth. Their backup last year, and now we
Mhm.
talked about Caicedo's backup. He's already gone. Like, if you talk to a lot of people that I don't know, just I think have their heads screwed on straight, like you could be looking at some injuries coming, October, November, December. So I think through the end of the year will tell us a lot about our season just because I'm so grateful for this depth and hopefully we can get the quality of depth up. But what I'm saying is I don't want our fans to like crucify our players or our coach or our club
Mhm.
because they have played a lot of football and yes, we have some depth, but hopefully we can get the quality up in time of the depth because I mean we could be dealing with more injuries here in the next few months. And I just think people need to brace themselves for that and just say, look, it is what it is, and we're doing the best that we can. Because I know all these people want us to mount this title charge, and I mean, I do too. But this is something I've been thinking about since, early summer. Like, especially after we won the Club World Cup, I was just like, oh, these guys have had no break whatsoever. Like, I mean, it's basically year-round football is basically it. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, there's just there's no summer break anymore, not on years like this, and so we just need to have some grace for the club. I don't know. I just want to say that because our fans can really dig things out and just look, at the moment and not look at the whole perspective. But if people start getting injured, like we need to be prepared for that, because I mean, the human body can only take so much, and we just need to give them our support.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for that, Tony. Kim, so yeah, that was the name I was looking for. Hi, guys. It's been a very disappointing day. If you keep disrespecting teams, Chelsea will go nowhere. I don't think we disrespected them. I think probably you're saying that again, given the fact that the manager rotated, we have to. We have, again, in we playing how many games? In 10 days. A lot of games changed 3 days apart from each. I think at most four, so he had to rotate. Um, yeah, but that's by the way. Let's see what else do we have here. Ganacho was fine. RCBs were all over the place today. They let them score from a direct throw in, which you could argue should have been a ruled offside, in my opinion. Offside. But that's by the way, we are nowhere near the finished article. Not to the extent nowhere near. We're close. New signings just need time. I don't know. That's it. Emo, anything else you want to say so that we can call it a day? We've been streaming for 2 hours and 51 minutes now. Just a few minutes for it to
Yeah.
be out.
I think we will be good. I hope. The last time we lost the game was against Flamengo. I hope we keep that momentum going, and I believe we're going to do it. I believe we're going to do it anyways because it's going to be tough. Yeah, 3 games, a game every 3 days interval. It's going to be crazy, but realistically, if you check on paper, the toughest games there would be probably be Bayern, Manchester United, Liverpool.
Mhm.
Probably just those 3 games. The rest, personally, I'll just call it a walkover.
Here's the
The
thing: the
rest,
truth
I
I
won't
wouldn't
remains.
sleep
disrespect
on
the teams.
Benfica because
At
until that
Benfica,
restart during the Club World Cup, they gave us all we wanted.
well, Benfica, we'll be prepared for them, but I don't expect anything special out of the ordinary from them. They are not, for goodness sake, they are not like how they are not Villarreal, they are not Atletico Madrid. So no disrespect to them, yeah, but I think we can handle them. 2-0,
Again, the,
two
the,
one,
the
3-1.
stronger
Oh,
the
good.
team, the least I'm concerned.
What?
Honestly, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing because they're not gonna go defend
What
the
is
all.
it, Coach? I think you cut out. What did you say?
The stronger the team, the least concerned I am. If we play
That
again,
for
let
me,
me
for me,
rephrase
for
that.
me,
If we play
it will.
against teams that will come at us,
Yeah.
that would want to win and not just defend deep with the aim of hitting us on the break, that's when I get concerned.
Okay.
Yeah, because if it's an open game, I'm fine. We have, as long as we have, so even Cole Palmer alone, without the lap and all this, we have a very potent attack.
As long as I don't know if how many teams can actually play like Brentford plays or Crystal
A lot of
Palace
the
or the
mid-table
way Fulham
teams,
played
a lot of
against us.
yeah, a lot of
That's
the
what we're
mid-table
looking
teams
at.
play the same way when they play us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Um,
think Benfica would come out.
So
I,
just to
It
clarify,
would.
Coach, just so I'm following you, are you saying that you feel more comfortable with the better teams because you know they're going to come out and therefore there's
yep.
going to be a lot of space in behind and that's where we excel? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, they're easy to deal with. Our biggest issue for 5 seasons right now, you can say, has always been dealing with teams that are able to defend in a compact manner or defend deep.
That's
Um,
facts. That's
Even
facts.
though we're
That's
properly
factual.
equipped right now to deal with that sort of approach, I think it will. Again, the newcomers need to um, gel properly first before we can go into games. Even when the opposition defend deep, we still say, "Yeah, we're winning," irrespective of how deep they defend. So I'm not too concerned about teams that will come at us. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I want to
Excellent,
say
coach.
again. Go ahead. If you want to say something else, we can call it a day.
Yeah.
All right. And my bro here says I would be roasting. Okay. The Okay, out of the ref for otherwise, if that was the goal, okay, I get it. I want to say thank you to Tony Sewell for joining us on the panel here. It's been an excellent conversation. Also, Imo and the captain of the community in Constantine Dante, he was also here, but I think he had to leave early to take care of his boy. And I want to say thank you to Chelsea Ultra, the Ultraman, my bro there in the chat. Who else was here? Kimso was also here. Lusula, thank you for joining. Rich Money Makers. Thank you for finding the time to be part of the conversation. And if I missed your name, apologies, I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all and cheers.
Cheers, Emo. Cheers, Coach.
Cheers, brother.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony. Thanks, coach. Appreciate it.
Still blue. Mm-hmm. Footsteps on Fulham Road, moonlight on my pride. Wore this badge through highs and lows, never had to hide. Memories in Stamford Breeze echo through my chest. Not every win is sweet, but I gave my all, no less. We sang through the rain, we danced through the pain. The pitch still remembers my name. Still blue through the silence and the roar. Still blue even when we don't score. I carry the soul of the shedding crew. You can't shake me, I'm still blue. Still here, still true. Woke up to the chance, paint cracked on my wall, but the pride in my heart never faded at all. Jersey frayed at the seams, but it still feels right. Been through darkest nights, still shining bright. We bled in the game, we rose with no shame. The bridge still whispers my name. Still blue, every tear and every cheer. Still blue, with my voice loud and clear. I carry the pride of the shedding crew. Win or lose, I'm still blue. From Drogba's fire to Reetz's run, we stood tall under every sun. Through Abramovich nights to new days begun, this heart beats for only one. Still blue, even when they don't believe. Still blue, every year we grieve and dream. I carry the hope of the shedding crew, born for this, I'm still blue. Still blue. still blue. Mm-hmm. Footsteps on Fulham Road, moonlight on my pride. Wore this badge through highs and lows, never had to hide. Memories in Stamford Breeze echo through my chest. Not every win is sweet, but I gave my all, no less. We sang through the rain, we danced through